Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. This is the 45th edition of the show. Getting close to 50, Drake. Getting close to 50.
I know, crazy. It's realistically, we're probably at about 65-ish, maybe
Yeah,
70,
yeah.
probably.
Without the
Probably more
break.
than that, actually.
Yeah, we did. We did quite a few before we took the break.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we're going to talk about on the show. Bellator 256 recap, UFC Vegas 23 recap, some news, of course, always news. Twitter questions. We have a few today. UFC Vegas 24 preview, Bellator 257 preview, and then whatever else you guys want to talk about. As you always do, entertain us. Drop questions, drop comments, whatever in the comment section. You're watching on YouTube, assuming you're watching on YouTube. There's a little comment section at the bottom there. Post your comments. We'll talk about what you want to talk about as well. Without you guys, there is no us. So let's get this shit started with the Bellator 256 recap. And yes, Rain, Ghost Phantom, Jimmy, we see you guys. Welcome.
Welcome, friends.
So a flyweight banger. Liz Carmouche and Vanessa Porto went at it. Carmouche beat Vanessa Porto by unanimous decision. Not what we saw happening, Drake.
It was not, and I'm a little bummed. I'm a little bummed about it. I got nothing against Liz Carmouche, but,
No,
you know,
nothing at all.
yeah, just the story and legacy and journey, the journey more than anything for Vanessa Porto finally getting here. And
Yeah.
man, like this fight, I didn't get to see it in full yet. When it happened live, I was out to dinner.
Mm.
But I saw like midway through the second round and then the third round, and it sounds like the whole fight looked like that. And it just reminds you, like, as much as we don't want to admit it, and that's kind of what I didn't want to admit in Jennifer Maia versus Carmouche and then Porto versus Carmouche is, and I guess just really all Carmouche fights for the most part, it's like
Mhm.
you just don't want to admit that she's so good at making everybody fight her fight. Like almost everybody, except for Ronda or whoever. But even like against Valentina, it was still that was more of like a Carmouche fight, feel rather than anything else. She's just so good at making everybody kind of fight her way, and usually that favors her, as we saw in this one. So
Her clinch game was on point. It was her striking was phenomenal, dude. It was Ghost Phantom. Gotta give it to Carmouche. Gotta give Carmouche some props. She really sharpened up that clinch. It was literally. It looked great.
that looked
It,
like the big thing to me. Like
yeah,
I didn't think that Vanessa was doing really. From what I saw, it didn't look like she was doing bad at all. Right? It was just
she
that
wasn't
she
doing
was
bad. It's
getting,
just Carmouche was doing better. I mean, that's
yeah,
what
just
happens in a fight. That's what happens in a fight. Somebody's always better, and this time it was Liz Carmouche. I we we doubted her. We didn't doubt Liz Carmouche at all. It was more about our hype for
in
Vanessa
faith and
Porto.
yeah.
Um, her, like you said, her finally getting to the bigger show. But with the bigger show comes the bigger opponent. Liz Carmouche. Liz Carmouche made it her fight, like you were saying, and I mean, it's just that's what she does. She's a grinder, man. She grinds to the very end.
It's not even that though about the bigger opponent right there, because Vanessa Porto's fought everybody. Like we mentioned last week, the Jennifer Maya's, she's fought Nunes. I think she fought Nunes, Cyborg back in the day. Like she's fought so many people. GDR, like it's like not that's not the issue. It's just that Carmouche has just such a style and game that can shut down people more often than not. And she ended up doing that again here. So um, gotta be next in line, right? Gotta be.
I would assume so. So Jimmy says Valentina beats everyone, but couldn't beat Liz Carmouche.
Carmouse.
Carmouse. Carmouse.
Yeah, that was a very forgettable fight. Don't want to remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, even the great Valentina Shevchenko can have not so great of fights.
Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, that's credit to Carmouche, for making it
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
look that way. So
Rain says Liz really set the pace on Porto. Very impressed with the way she controlled space. Yeah,
yeah, that was great.
everything, everything was great that Carmouche was doing. She was she was on top of her game in that fight.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, like we just said, she's got to be next in line now because we argued that Porto could have came right in for an instant title shot, and could still argue that should have happened. Keyholt's obviously in the mix as well for the other
I kind
person,
of want to
but
see Keyholtz, man.
I would love to. I think that's a much more exciting matchup, probably.
Yeah,
But
I
Carmouche,
think so.
1,000% deserves it now. I think.
She does. She does. I don't.
And
I
they were
don't think
talking about that before Juliana was even champion.
they were, but I don't think that it would be like a fun fight. Like
It'd be interesting to see how, Juliana handles, the Carmouche style, as we're saying here, that grinder and the space
yeah,
control. It would be, yeah, interesting in this one where Juliana's very good at that as well. I like it. I like all the matchups at flyweight really these days, especially in Bellator. But
yeah. The
um,
Bellator flyweight division is so good, man. So entertaining.
so we will see. You can't go wrong. That's the plus side of it. I do agree. The Keyholtz one is the most exciting option for Juliana, but yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not going to be mad at
that would
whatever
be such a
happens.
firefight. Oh man, the striking in that fight.
Yeah, that would be fun, even if it hits the mat too. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's an interesting question here. Rain asks Liz versus Kana next.
Um. Yeah, that would be fun if, like
If
we were
Keyholtz
saying,
gets the title
Keyhole
shot,
gets the title shot.
yeah.
Then Liz and Kana would be a lot of fun as well. That would be really fun. Who would I favor in that fight though? I I would end up favoring Kana, I think. But Liz is so tough. Like, I
And the
mean,
experience.
yeah, yeah.
That
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 would
would
be a
be
good fight.
yeah. That is an
I like that
interesting
fight
matchup.
range. I really do like that fight range.
I could see maybe Porto Kana as well, or maybe Porto and Lara. Like you would imagine it's got to be people in that same spot on the rankings for.
Dude, that would be crazy though. If it was Porto, I mean Porto going in there and going 0 for 2,
Well,
against Kana.
potentially, it would be tough. The division's great, as we said. It's
I
not going to
know
be easy.
that's
It's
the
not going to
problem
be
with the
easy.
top, like being at the top. Then we start seeing, the the fighters that we love to watch fight each other, and then one
Right.
has to fucking lose.
Exactly.
That's
That's
the
the worst.
one bad thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. We like them all. They're all very likable and fun to watch. So,
Yeah,
but again, can't go wrong with the matchups. Matchup wise, it's
no.
it's super bittersweet. When you look at it that way that you just presented there. But Jimmy chiming in on that idea.
Jimmy said hopefully Kana wins that one, but Liz has a more comprehensive game right now. For now, right now she does,
Yeah,
but she's been around for ages.
yeah, that she has. So we will see. We will see.
Yeah,
But there was more action, Steve.
there was
Plenty.
there was more action. There was an unnecessary fight that happened.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Let's get into that. Good fun.
So Kat Zingano beat Olivia Parker, first round armbar. It's kind of what we said. Um, this matchup didn't need to
Didn't need
didn't
to
need to
happen.
happen. It didn't need to happen at all. And I mean, kudos, I guess, to Olivia Parker for going in there against a very tough Kat Zingano, but she had nothing.
Yeah, not much to say about this. Just unnecessary. I mean, hey, she lasted longer than I predicted. I said 2 minutes for Kat. She it was about 3. So there's that. But I don't know. It's just dumb. I don't get it, man.
I mean, we said this that last week when we were doing the preview. The matchup didn't make any sense at all.
No.
If anything, she should be fighting Julia Budd tomorrow or on Friday.
Yep.
Or they should have fought last week. I mean, and then the two, Olivia Parker and who's Budd fighting?
Diana
Silva. And then those two should fight this week.
Yeah, that made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, but they didn't. I don't think that they wanted. Again, here we are. I don't think they wanted Julia Budd to lose again or Kat Zingano to lose.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So put him in there with a couple of cans.
I mean, and that's the thing is like, Kat already had her first win in Bellator against Gabby Holloway. Dominant victory, but not really highlight worthy, right? I said this last week. Not. I don't know if they even showed any highlights going into this fight. They might have. I just didn't see them. But they wanted her to have a highlight reel victory. Easiest way to do that was make this matchup to further, sell a potential title fight with Cyborg. Okay, you got it. But man, it's just so easy to expose. Like for even the most casual fan who's like, oh wow, that was a really good armbar. Who was that against? Just go look it up. Just look real quick. like, and I'm not a person generally who will say that just glancing at somebody's record or whatever is a good indication of things. But in this case, like when Olivia Parker got just completely destroyed by Chelsea Chandler in the fight before this, meaning that this should have definitely not happened. It's just so easy to expose, to the casual eye. And
I want to see Stockton's own Chelsea Chandler back in there. Man, she should be the one that's fighting the Julia Budds and the Kat Zinganos, not Olivia Parker. Like, I mean, come on, dude.
And it's nothing against Olivia again. Like that's make that clear, but just there's levels to this shit. Yeah, and the matchmaking just not the
it's
right
crazy
way to go about it.
Because Bellator matchmaking is really good a lot of the times, and then there's shit like this where it's like, dude, come on.
It's like two extremes, two very big extremes on each side.
Yeah. So Ghost Phantom said, did you guys see Josh Thompson try to sell this fight for 5 minutes? Terrible.
Thankfully not. I bet it was hilarious though.
Dude, it was so bad. Like, I don't like Josh Thompson as an analyst anyway, really. I don't think he really brings a hell of a lot, but like for him, yes, for Bellator and for him to push, that this was going to be a phenomenal fight. Come on. We all knew, like anybody who pays attention knows what's going to happen.
And that goes along my same line of thinking about, you can't really fool the casuals on this one. If you do the most minimal of research, the tiniest, it just takes one search, really, one thing to search, and it just opens up the can. So
yeah. Jimmy asks, what does Kat prove coming out of this? She can be an inexperienced opponent.
Well, I would have said it proved nothing, but I guess that would have been the one thing, Jimmy. that would have been.
Yeah, I think that it proves that she's fit and she's ready to fight.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, that she still knows how to finish. I mean,
yeah, she knows how to finish the fight.
Good to see you, Rue. Welcome.
Rue says this one was terrible. Kat went through guard, mount back, just horrendous matchmaking. It was bad. It was bad. But we get that in Bellator quite often. Actually, like it's there's these really good cards. And then there's this stupid fight that's on the card. It's
yeah, just
yeah. Ghost Phantom saying Parker has been preparing for this moment her entire life. I think they all do prepare for a fight like that, but it's not like Kat Zingano's fucking Chris Cyborg or Amanda Nunes or even Julia Budd.
Man, just ridiculous.
Jimmy says, "What's crazy is how high this was on the card. It was what? It was the
second main card.
Yeah, it was second or third. It was right before the. Was it right before the co-main event?
No, I think it was the second fight. I think
second fight on the main card.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It was on the main card, and it shouldn't have been. When
it shouldn't have happened.
Okay, so when we're talking about like what shouldn't be on the main card and what should be, when we get to Julia Budd, I want to bring that up. Remind me.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So there's not really much more to say about this that we haven't.
I think we talked too long about it, to be honest.
yeah, that's very.
We talked longer about it than the fight went on.
Yes, 100%. and yeah, Ghost Phantom brings up fantastic point. I think he tweeted this at me too.
Ghost Phantom says, "At least Parker didn't get hurt in the end."
Yeah.
She was in a fight. She was in a fight though, so I mean,
her elbow's probably a little sore, but you know.
I think her feelings are probably a little hurt too.
Probably.
You know, I mean, first round armbar is tough.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get out of here. I'm done with this. I'm done with this fight forever, please. All right, but the other featherweight fight that did happen, one that actually made sense. Let's talk about this one. So
Talita Nogueira came back finally, and she beat Jessica Borga by unanimous decision, 29-27. It was a good Talita Nogueira fight.
Yes, it was. I think, man, the experience difference in this one really showed, and Talita just kind of looked fucking huge compared to her. Like, Jessica Borga was pretty outsized.
Yeah, she did.
And that's kind of surprising, too, because, like, Borga's pretty decent-sized featherweight. I'm sure that she could probably make bantamweight. Maybe she has fought there before in the past. I don't remember off the top of my head, but, like, it's just kind of crazy because you look back at, like, when Talita fought... Julia Budd. Julia Budd, obviously a huge, legit featherweight. And, pretty similar in size. I kind of forgot about that until, seeing Talita in this fight here. But, yeah, very dominant. Borga didn't really have anything after the first round, especially. And I even had those last two. I think I had the last two rounds 10-8, at least one of them. And there was the point deduction here, as you see, 29-28, 29-27, excuse me.
Yep.
That was, what was that for? I completely have blanked out what that was. Was it a knee? There was a down knee, wasn't there?
A knee.
Right, because that just keeps happening these days. Knees to the grounded opponents. That was the point deduction there. But either way, very, very dominant performance from Talita. Probably could have got a finish, honestly, in some of those positions on the ground, but she just didn't really didn't rain it down really, really heavily. But she did some damage, and I think enough to have earned some 10-8s, which surprisingly weren't handed out. But
yeah, and she was gone for so long. I mean, this was a good fight for her, I think, to come back to.
Right. Yeah, get back in the win column, snap the losing streak.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love to see this. Bruce says, "I would have never looked at this fight if it wasn't for you guys previewing it last week." And then he continues.
That means everything, man. Look at those kind of comments.
Literally. That's why we're here. That is why we are here for that. There's not enough love for women's MMA, and I mean, it just so happened at the beginning, Drake and I found each other because we were working at the same spot, and we started talking about women's MMA. Drake had always done like his rankings and stuff. I had always written articles about like Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate and stuff like that, and then we kind of connected, and we did this. We started doing this, and now we're
perfect storm.
Now we're a bunch of shows in and getting people to kind of pay attention and stuff. this is why we're doing it though. I love that. I fucking love that, man.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Don't thank us. Thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah. Thank you guys. And then Jimmy says maybe Toledo
Valid point.
like Tinina, so the ref could have stopped it.
Wouldn't have hurt. Wouldn't have hurt. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see both of these fighters come back because they both didn't have a fight since 2019, and Borga, man, kind of she got pretty exposed if we're gonna be honest in this one, but I don't know, maybe it was a layoff thing for her because she looked like she gassed pretty early on, like after the first
I think
round.
it was in the second round. I think it was she hit the wall in like a minute into the second round or something like that, where she started like not throwing anything at all, and then Toledo just started going at her.
Yeah, just handling her a bit. So.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's good to see Toledo get back in there and get a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a really good fighter. She's an interesting fighter to watch. She's kind of a dark horse in that featherweight division. If she stays active and keeps improving and stuff, I like it, man.
Yeah,
I've always liked her though. There's something about her, and it's not Nagara. There's definitely something else about her.
She's mean. It wasn't me. It was the I just remembered it was the back of the head punches. That was the point deduction.
Oh yeah. Is that what it is? That she's mean? Is that why I like her?
Mean fighter, man. Might be.
Yeah.
Got that Stockton in her. That Brazilian Stockton. But even man, I would have much preferred Nogueira versus Zingano. That makes a much more sense too, and I wouldn't even be mad at that next.
That would have been a really good scrap, actually. Man, you got fighters that we haven't seen in a while. Chelsea Chandler, Janae Harding, Blanco. There's a few fighters that we need to see in that division.
Some good matchups that can be made as
well. There are good matchups. Chandler and Harding, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a crazy scrap.
I'd stay away from that one for a little bit, though.
I would too. But that would be such a good fight,
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I wasn't really.
Blanco and Harding go again. Give that to me.
Right, yeah, for sure. There's there's some good options indeed, and it's funny just to touch on Chelsea Chandler again before we move on. Like I wasn't really sold on her early on, but yeah, kind of hard not to be after what she's done recently. So I'm definitely looking forward to her coming back to whenever that is, hopefully soon. So whether that's with Invicta or Bellator. So
I don't know.
And, still waiting on that. Don't worry, guys, it's coming. The Invicta news is coming.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed at this point.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh, look who it is! Stamina back in the house. He's missed a couple shows, hasn't he?
Stamina, what are you doing?
But we've been moving all over the place, so it's partly our fault.
Nice to see you, fella.
Indeed. Just in time for perhaps perhaps the most marketable fighter, in my opinion, right now. If we're gonna go down that path, let's get into it.
Yeah. So Diana Avzagorova beat Tara Graf by first round knockout. You're talking about mean. She's a mean one, and she had that nice right.
30 seconds.
Put her down in 29 seconds.
Yeah, wild. You want to talk about a perfect debut? Like we all knew, said it last week that this was 100% meant to be a showcase fight. She was supposed to win. She went out there. She did what she was supposed to do, but she did it better than you can really predict or expect, right? And
Bellator love their showcase fights, man. Like they really do. They really
do. Yeah. Poor Tara Graf too has been now on the receiving end of two of them. It's just sucks for her, man. Really. It's a shame.
I kind
but
of just want to see Loretta and Abzaragova go.
Oh,
Fuck it.
absolutely.
Yeah, fuck it.
And geez, that'd be very good. Um, yeah, and I think that that's a test that Valerie needs. And I know that people like the thing about Valerie, and I guess we will get to her, so maybe I should save it, but I'm gonna say it since we're already here. Like, her highlights, she ends up getting these finishes which are good, but and they kind of mask the fights up. I mean, the whole fight up until that point in her fight so far, right? Because in her fights you can see that she is still very, very green, but then she ends up getting some pretty awesome highlight reel knockouts at the end of them.
She does.
And it kind of just makes everybody forget that, oh, geez, up until that point, like, it's a little, a little rough. And maybe
she's still young. She's still
Yeah.
growing in MMA. I mean, she's on her third fight right now, or third fight,
I think
right?
going into four. Yeah, going into four.
Going into 4. I mean, she's very young in the fight game. But she, like you said, she has all of these fun knockouts. So, fuck, who am I to judge her as a fighter right now at this point? You know.
But then the problem is who she's fighting and the fact that maybe it's not Bellator's fault, but she's at 9 in the rankings. That's a problem, for somebody who is still very, very unpolished.
I think we know, like, why she's in the rankings at number 9.
Yeah, we do, but this goes back to the slow builds.
It's not because of her fighting. It's not because of her fighting.
Right. No, 100%. 100%. I'm just
I
saying,
mean, dude,
like,
I literally made her my most marketable fighter of the year. Like, before the rankings even came out and all that shit.
Yeah. And yes, Ghost Fan are bringing up a good point. They might like to look at Loretta assist, but everyone wants Kana to win. Yep, Kana strong we are, but yeah, no, it's interesting. I would like to see, and we will get more into that Loretta talk, but Bellator, their slow builds are too slow, a little too slow. And so that when they get on such a streak,
yeah,
then they face a real opponent, and it just is not a good result.
Kind of like
we saw James Gallagher, Pico, yeah, great example.
That's the one
MVP.
That's the one that really comes to mind. Is Aaron Pico for me?
Yeah, he's probably the best example there for sure. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So we'll see what they do with Abzaragova and if they try to replicate that. But honestly, I think that she has kind of proven, yes, she hasn't had enough. She hasn't enough fights, period. But from what we've sseen from her,
2-0, 3-0,
3-0 now. But in her performances and like just watching her technique wise and the skills that she has is very evident.
29 seconds, dude. She fucking hammered him in 29 seconds.
Exactly. I think that you can just see with some people that, all right, I feel a bit safer about their potential. So with her, she's looking very good at this stage.
So would you put as like prospect wise, would you put Abzaragova over Loretta at this point?
As of right now, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I would as well. But I mean, that's not saying that Loretta is not going to be a great fighter at some point. No. It's just Abzaragova, she's knocking girls out in 29 seconds.
Yeah. And, just her wins in the way they've been more complete performances. Let's put it that way, right? Like in Loretta's last fight, and, a lot of I don't know, how do I put it? Just trying to control the distance most of the fight and not very active, right? Until like the very end. She finds that moment. She's waits for the timing a little bit, and not that she got down necessarily in some of those fights, but like they weren't as impressive on the way up till the end. The ending's great. She's got that down. She's got the finishes down, but it's just in terms of a complete performance, I do, what we've seen from Abzaragova so far in fights. Yeah, if we're to compare, but so just is what it is. Some people, not everybody's the same. Everyone's got to take their own path, and hopefully they just can grow and improve as time goes on. So excellent way to kick off the card. I mean, I know that was the second fight, but hell of a performance. So that was good. All right, so that was Bellator 256. I can't tell if you are frozen, Steve. Are you there? He appears to be frozen. So, Bellator 256. That is a wrap on that. Yep, there he goes. So, I'll get myself off the screen here for you guys as we transition to UFC Vegas 23, which was only a one-fight card because we ended up losing Blanchfield versus Dumont because Dumont missed weight again by, 4.5 pounds twice in a row now. The Ashley Evans Smith fight, she missed by the same weight. She came in at 139.5 for that one, and then this one, so they canceled that fight, which a little bit of a blessing in disguise for Erin Blanchfield, if you ask me, and kind of how we were feeling about that fight last week. And Steve is back. There you go. What happened? Still frozen? Still having issues here? But yeah, so Dumont, Blanchfield. Okay. All right. Technical difficulties a bit here. There, we good? We good?
Where are we at?
So we're moving into UFC Vegas 23. I was just we're talking about Blanchfield and Dumont falling off. So now we just have the one that we had a little bit. So, all right. The one fight that we did have, and I know you're very excited to talk about this one, Steve. And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, so my girl, Mackenzie Dern, beat Nina Nunes via first round armbar, baby. Mama Dern is on fire. She's coming. Man, dude, I love it. I love that Mama Dern's back and fucking taking arms.
All right, so let's get into this. Everybody seems much more impressed with this performance than I am. And I will say I was impressed with it for one reason.
These are not to be impressed about. The number 5 fighter, a pound for pound ranked fighter in Nina Ansaroff.
Oh, Steve, that's bullshit. You've been calling more than anybody for her to be removed. Get out of here, you salesman. You fanboy. What a simp comment to say right there. How dare you throw that at me? Anyway, the most impressive thing about this win for Mackenzie Dern was the fact that she showed us that she learned how to do a takedown. She showed us.
She a takedown monster.
Yes, she got the single, went for that leg. That was very good to see. That was the most impressive part of this performance. We know she can armbar. Nina, I don't think that she hasn't been submitted in a long time. If she has been submitted, she's very tough. Almost made it out of that round. Obviously, 4:48 in, but just it's a game of inches in time with Mackenzie Dern once you're on the ground, and we knew once it went there, that's kind of how it would be. But the problem for me here is that, as Mackenzie showed us what we needed to see, right? We needed to see that she can get a takedown. Finally showed that for us. But we still have questions now because before that, her striking looked worse, dude. Am I the only one that saw this? It's like she went backwards.
She was flailing again.
She was all over the place. It was not pretty.
She went back to flailing. Yeah. She was working too hard on the single leg takedown, and she forgot how to strike.
Right.
Fuck, dude. Come on, Mackenzie. Get it together. Do the whole package thing and be a champion. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I saw that, but I blocked it out.
As did everybody else. Nobody was seeming to mention that. I was like,
I saw her flailing arms, and I was like, no, not
Here
this
we
again.
go again.
Like as I was watching, I was like, no, not again, not the flailing arms again. Please stop.
Yeah, and like that was just very shocking to me because in the last three, or this winning streak she's been on, it's looked much improved since the Hebus fight. Her
Well,
striking looked a lot better.
I mean, let's be honest though. Like her striking improved, but her striking was non-existent and very bad
Right. So
before. So I mean,
it's not saying an incredible amount, but it is saying
it can only go up from where it was.
Right.
There was literally no going down from where she was.
Right. Right. Unless she just didn't throw at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I wish, to be honest, I wish that she would just work with wrestlers and learn how to take down, and then go for a ground and pound and submit people. Fuck
Right.
the striking. Fuck striking. Kick that out. Kick that out because she's not gonna learn it. She's not gonna learn how to throw out of. I think she, hitting pads is different than hitting an opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like she gets excited about like throwing her fists. Like
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like she gets excited about getting into a fight, and then she should just stop that. She should just stop striking. Work with wrestlers. Go for takedowns. Learn the single leg. Learn the double leg. Go in the mount and try to submit people. Fuck the striking.
No, I think you're completely spot on with that because if she enters into the pocket that aggressively and that sloppily against
she's gonna get knocked out. Silly. She's gonna get knocked out. Silly, dude.
If you do that against Whaley,
Mackenzie Dern fan. I'm a big Mackenzie Dern fan. I want her to be a champion, but you cannot fight the way that you're fighting at this point. Like you can't.
Yeah. So that's just why, that's an issue to still see that, especially when the top of the division right now is fairly striker heavy. You look at Marina Rodriguez ain't having that. Marina Rodriguez not having that come at her. No. Whaley, Yan Jiaonan, masters of distance control. Even Joanna would pour it on there right there. Rose in and out.
I think that's the fight that I want to see the most, though, is the Joanna fight with Mackenzie. But I don't think that Joanna would take that fight.
It's hard to tell what she will take at this point, but I like that one. I still think Joanna and Tatiana is perfect, but Dern being up there now at this point,
but we don't even know what's going on with Tatiana. That's like the problem.
I know. I'm staying hopeful.
We can't really I think we all want to see Tatiana come back and do very well, but it's
Even Tatiana versus Dern. There's that too.
Well.
You couldn't handle that one, could you?
Be able to watch like this, maybe like this the whole time.
That's your version of Verna and Kanako, because that's mine. I can't handle that. But all right, comments flooding in on this one. Love to see you guys. Let's start out with Ghost here.
Not a Dern fan, but that was impressive. It was impressive. I mean, she beat the number 5 ranked fighter and pound for pound number whatever she was.
Just stop.
Rue says Nina Nunes was coming off a 2-year layoff, but impressive in terms of using a single leg set up by a jab. I mean, that was
literally the best part.
That's literally what got her got her to the ground was the jab and then the single leg.
Yeah, that was the best part of the fight indeed. And stamina here, yeah, that I did.
Them words.
Steve knows what he's doing.
Jimmy says her striking was terrible. She threw a jab and everything went out the window. Well, she threw the jab and she saw that she hit her, so she was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw these hands, and then she started fucking flailing. She started flailing everywhere, and fucking.
What is it with you, Steve, and just loving fighters who are terrible punchers?
Well, I think I think what it is I'm a wrestler, so I mean I
Right.
like the ground game, I like the ground game and stuff. But yeah, MMA fighters as strikers. Who do I like? That's a good striker.
Oh man, I love it.
Ghost Phantom says Dern was just lucky that Nina had no timing because of the layoff. I don't know, man. I think that Nina just didn't even deserve to be ranked
Right.
so high,
Right.
so highly. Like it's kind of both. It's kind of both, I think.
Yes. Well, no, because before the layoff, she had 100% earned that spot, as we talked about last week. But yeah, coming back after the layoff and the bodily transformation, all that kind of thing, and in this matchup, it was, Mackenzie Dern always starts off fucking fast, right? She's a very quick starter.
Yeah.
Nina, she's kind of got a rhythm that I wouldn't say she's a slow starter necessarily, but she's fights at a consistent pace. But when all these factors come into play and you take on maybe the fastest starter in the division is probably Dern now that Andrade is gone, yeah, it was problematic. And I liked to see that Nina was the favorite going into this, and assuming, as you kind of have to do, assuming she came in on point looking like the old Nina, we figured, and with Dern not knowing how to do takedowns going in, it was tough. It would have been tough if that stays on the feed and looked the way that it could have. Would have been a much more interesting. It would have played out a lot more interestingly, right?
Dumb ass odds makers, dude. Again,
Yeah.
dumb ass odds makers when it comes to women's MMA.
Yeah, it was surprising. I didn't expect that, but hey, money for people. That's always the thing. Money for people.
Yeah.
So Rain coming in here.
Dern has a good jab. It just goes bad after that. She does have a good jab. Like, just use the jab as your only strike and take it to the ground.
Yeah, everybody's saying the jab.
It's like she's out of control when she uses her rear hand. Yeah, because she doesn't know how to do it. She doesn't know how to throw a punch.
Amazing.
Stamina says, I hear you, fellas, but however reckless the striking was, it was never bad enough as for her opponent to exploit it. A combatant need only be better than their opponent rather than objectively good. Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree. Point.
I agree with Stamina. Yeah. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and Nina did land some good shots on Dern coming in there. It's not like she got completely overwhelmed by the ridiculousness. She was able to land some, but in the end, it was kind of, Mackenzie mixed it up, obviously, as she did go for the takedown, thankfully, rather than just getting crazy and risking it, really. But, I mean, that was definitely a fair point. So, no. Jimmy questioning your fandom here.
Jimmy, come on. It's not that I'm not a Whaley fan at all. I mean, dude, I'm a big proponent of Whaley, actually, but look at that. Look at that. Can Whaley do that? Can Whaley do that on
Oh, yes, she can.
Ghost Phantom, I think we can agree that Dern has a decent jab, but that's it on the feet. That's literally what I'm saying. Throw the jab, throw fucking combination jabs, and take that motherfucker to the ground and finish it.
Yeah, that's the recipe for success. Would be.
The problem with just using a jab without its variations is it can easily be countered. Yes, but so can a flailing fucking right and a flailing left, because when you're flailing, you're opening up and you're going to get fucking beat.
It's just a mess. I think that the best solution is probably
this is me being earlier. A Mackenzie Dern fan. Like,
right. Just wrestle, Mackenzie. Just do that. Just learn to do that.
Take it to the ground. Take it to the ground. Fuck it. Fucking wrap fights up, dude. Take it to the ground.
Gotta
Yes,
love it. So.
yes, I know, Jimmy. It was a joke. But can she do that armbar?
Oh man. So, all right, hitting the 45-minute mark, just wrapping up the recaps. Man, plenty of, notable action to kind of discuss there, and mostly Bellator stuff, which
Yeah,
I like to see that. Just happy that that is back, and so
Bellator's
yeah.
back, baby.
And more to come coming up this week. And before we dive on into a really fat mailbag this week, Rain mentioning, the Rodriguez Hibas.
Look how Rodriguez countered Ribas since Ribas kept using the same jab. And it would probably happen to Mackenzie as well.
Yeah, very
Because
likely.
Marina is a different type of monster.
All right, let's open this bad boy. I don't know if you've peeked in much, Steve, but we do have a good amount here, so this is probably going to take up a good chunk of the show. We have about 6 or so, I think, which is a good amount and pretty deep questions. And thanks to Ghost Phantom for kicking it off here. And about to get deep and maybe a little frustrated here. Steve, haven't heard your thoughts much on, of course, the upsetting comments made from Rose about the better dead than red thing. I already I don't want to be that guy who pushes you somewhere else, but I don't really like to get too much into politics. But I did comment on this over on the Body Locks YouTube channel, and I will respond to Steve's responses. But most of my thoughts are over there if you would like to go see. So shameless plug a little bit.
I didn't say anything at all, really. I didn't say anything at all.
Share with us your thoughts now, buddy.
Sure. So the better dead than red thing, I understand where Rose is coming from with the Lithuanian heritage, but she's fighting Whaley, who is Chinese and not Russian. Lithuania had issues with Russia, not China. And as far as I know, we haven't heard Whaley say anything about the Chinese government whatsoever. She hasn't said that she agrees or disagrees. And if she says that she disagrees, then that's not a good look for her at all, to disagree with the Chinese government. It's not as free as the United States. And I don't think that Americans understand how other countries work. Not everybody
do.
Not everybody is as free of speech as we Americans are, or most of the Europeans are. The Western Europeans are, for sure. It's disappointing. I think that's all I put out there, was that I was disappointed. I'm disappointed by it because they're not the same. They shouldn't be put together. And the red corner, like, okay, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like and this reporter was like, oh dude, he was eating it up. He was like, yes, this is exactly what I needed. He was not expecting that at all, dude. Like, he had nothing he was saying absolutely nothing. This was all on Rose.
Right.
For me, I wonder what the pushback is going to be from the UFC. If there is even going to be any pushback. Because once we start getting into fight week, there's got to be questions to Rose. There has to be questions to Rose about this. Clarification.
I mean, I'll be there. I can ask.
We need clarification of this. This was just a bad fucking look, dude. This was a bad look for her. I hated it. Like, I listened to the whole thing, and I was pretty put off by it. Like, I like Rose Namajunas as a fighter, I really do. She hasn't really said anything for me to be like, oh, I don't like her as a person. Now I'm like, dude, you need to differentiate things. China and Russia, communism, it's not the same thing. Plus, China's not even a communism state anymore.
So, yeah, really the the thing kind of is for me, and I did say this in the body lock video, but it's not like, as you mentioned too, not that we've ever seen Whaley be in support of, communism or all these things that, Rose may be, touching on and what have you. Not everybody, just because you're from somewhere, doesn't mean that you agree with how things are run.
Doesn't. It doesn't.
And especially not 100%. Like, if you 100% agree with absolutely everything where you're from, then you're probably insane as is, because nothing's perfect, and it's very unlikely for you to agree with everything from the place you were from, and you shouldn't be kind of, associated as a representative of very bad things just because you are from a place. That just isn't fair. And then the other thing that I pointed out was like, man, you have to say this during this time kind of where
the Asian
there's this, yes, exactly, which is just terrible and really frustrating to see.
I was gonna say that, and I went off, and I was going to say that as well. The Asian hate thing is very much like, we've talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago, when the Asian hate started coming up and stuff, especially here in America. Fucking dude, this is the one thing about America. I love being here. I love that my family came here. Half of my family came here. Half of my family fucking was here before the English were here. So I mean, I'm an American, but America's stupid as fuck, y'all. Like, there's some ignorant ass people here, dude. There's some really unintelligent, ignorant people here, and we see it all the time, especially on social media. Once people start getting the idea of hating someone, it picks up and it builds. We have a thing called Black Lives Matter here in the States. Now there's an Asian hate thing. Dude, what's next? Like, what? Who's next? Who's the next people to get fucking hate on? Like, it's sickening. It's sickening to me. I hate it. I fucking hate the state that we're in right now, especially in this country.
Yeah, it's I just wish, it's cliche to say, but I just wish we could all get along. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
that's literally never going to happen.
Right.
But there's things that you can do.
Just don't be an asshole, right?
Don't be racist. How about that? Don't be a fucking bigot. How about that shit?
Yeah, and you just to speak from like own personal experience, and growing up in a very rural and secluded place where there was only like two non white people in most of my schools, like high school and middle school and all that, very, very exclusively, dominant in one direction.
Yeah.
It's like so many people judge kind of places, and I guess it's fair to do whatever you want, but they judge things and what have you, whatever it is, without ever actually firsthand experience. And from my own experience, having gone to China and lived there very briefly, I will admit, but like just all the experiences with the people and the place, even although it wasn't that long, like not bad at all. You know, some of the most amazing, kind people ever, and ones that have openly told me that they, no, this isn't the perfect country, and like we definitely don't agree with a lot of these things. But hey, we're not stuck here necessarily. But when you are, you got to do what you got to do to kind of live, and it's not just easy to get up and move as many people make it out to be, especially the internet trolls. Like, well, if you don't fucking like it here, why don't you move? Okay, that actually takes a lot to do, for many reasons. So
it definitely does.
It's just yeah, it's just always funny to me when there's just you don't have to be that way, I guess, but easier said than done. I don't know. So
So a problem. Okay, Rose says, "Do you guys think that whatever Whaley does is going to get backlash no matter what? If she says nothing or something about China, I think that she should say nothing at this point. I think that she should just go out there and fight. Fuck all the bullshit at this point. I think that she has a target on her, and from many different people right now."
Yeah, I don't think she will get backlash. Hopefully,
Dude,
but I say I don't think so, just because it seems like this has actually been a pretty overwhelming, for the most part, support of Whaley in this
really
case.
Good. It's looked really good for
Which,
Whaley.
yeah, generally in these kind of situations, the MMA community unfortunately has a lot of, not so great people in it, and you see support for some of the stupid things that can be said. Like, I don't want to name any specific examples, but generally it doesn't seem this overwhelming in what seems more morally right, like the person who shouldn't be to blame for anything, which would be Whaley in this case. I think that's kind of fair to say. That is my opinion, of course, but
I think that's most of our opinions.
Yeah, and so thankfully I don't think that there will be. And if she is to say something, I think she might laugh it off. And for a fact she is going to be asked about this next week, and so we will definitely hear her thoughts, I am sure. But it just goes back to think about how she responded to when Joanna did the little thing that she did on her Instagram before the fight. Right. So I'm sure she'll respond similarly to that. So
I think what she's gonna do is she's gonna just laugh it off, because that's who she is. She doesn't come with spite or with any hate or anything like that. She's in a fight because she likes to fight, and that's it. She's not looking for a villain, for her to be fighting a villain or anything like that. She's just there to fight. That's it. That's her job.
She wants to be friends. She literally said that.
She literally said that she wants to be friends with
makes
Ro.
it even crazier.
Right. And then this interview came up after that.
Yeah.
We don't know if Rose saw that interview. I would assume that she didn't even hear about that, because I don't think after hearing that Whaley wants to be friends with her that she would say this kind of stuff. I don't think that she would do that. What I do think about Rose is she got stuck in her Lithuanian heritage, and it went sideways.
Right.
She was going good, and then she went off track with it. Far off track with it. Like very, very far off track with it. It's not a good look for Rose Namajunas. And what's crazy is Rose Namajunas is beloved by a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I really am. I'm kind of envious of you for going to this, just going to the press conferences and stuff just for this now. Because I want to hear with my own ears. I want to hear with my own ears what both of them have to say. What they have to say now.
Yeah. Definitely adds a very unexpected potential intensity to it, right? Like, I mean,
like
I
it
don't know,
shouldn't
just
have
a
even
an
happened.
unnecessary layer. Yeah, just a
So unnecessary.
layer we didn't need. We've all been so anticipatory. I don't know if that's the right word to use, or excited, waiting just for the fight because of the fight itself. But now you get this kind of thing like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? Why is this getting it to be a part of it? You know, kind of thing. But it's something, and plenty of comments here, so let's check them out here.
Yeah.
Ghost Phantom.
All right, so Ghost Phantom. What's ironic about this one is that they didn't need to twist Rose's words for this like they did with Whaley on Tyson. That's right.
Point.
This was all Rose Namajunas. This was straight out her mouth. And that Lithuanian reporter guy, he had nothing to do with this. He asked a question, and this was all Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, definitely very interesting situations to look at, comparing side by side Ghost Phantom. So, yeah, Radical Rosh, good to see you.
Thank you for
joining us.
Imagine if Whaley blamed Rose for all the war crimes the U.S. has committed.
Oh boy!
I mean, we can do that. We can do that with literally almost every country. I mean, there's things happen in every country, but yes, I mean, but again, Rose would probably be like, I'm not fucking American. I was just born here. My family's from Lithuania. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would say.
Right, but I mean,
go ahead.
In terms of
the reaction.
Goodness,
the reaction would be fucking chaos. Straight fucking.
Yeah,
chaos.
that would be a bit interesting.
We would see
Whaley would never do that though.
We would see all the red-blooded MAGA people come out.
Oh boy,
heavy-handed.
Ghost here again.
When you guys ask any UFC fighter, not Valentina or Angela Hill, they always mention Whaley's crazy work ethic, not that she's a communist. Even Valentina Shevchenko, who doesn't say much either, but she has always spoke well of Whaley.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Jimmy, Whaley just wanted to get along. She even said that by fighting, they understand each other more. Yeah, she literally said she wants to be friends with her. And then we got that.
Rue here. Kind of
what's the first thing you guys think of when you think of Whaley? Because most people usually say it's the way she works, not her political views. Has she given us any reason to think otherwise? Like other than her fights and the way she prepares for fights and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's her work ethic of learning how to speak English.
Yeah. Well, there's also that.
And the stamina comes hard. Sucker Punch, which is Rose Namajunas. That's
both of their management.
Oh, both of them. You're right. Yeah, Whaley as well. Sucker Punch had better be all over this. This needs to be kept a tight fucking lid on to not fan the flames any further. Yeah, but the only I agree with you, Stamina, but the problem with it is they're going to get dudes like Drake Riggs here who know the story and don't give a fuck what Sucker Punch has to say about anything. And they're going to just ask questions.
Yep, that is true.
It's going to be on the UFC, PR, and of course Sucker Punch to tell Rose and Whaley what they can say or not say or should say. I mean, because at this point, Rose has said a lot. Rose has said enough. Now it's kind of the waiting game on what Whaley is going to say, and I don't think that she's going to say much. I really don't. I don't think that she needs to say anything. Yeah. Just laugh that shit off. It was bullshit anyway.
Yeah, indeed. Jimmy here.
Jimmy said, "I've seen a Whaley documentary for her journey to UFC 248, and like the way she lives is incredibly humble. Same house, same car, same gym. Just wants to train. That's literally it. Yeah. Wasn't she living in the gym?
I'm sure at some point. I don't know about like.
I think that she would.
She practically does. If we're going to talk about how she trains.
No, I think that she lived in the gym when she. What was it when she went from one gym to her gym now?
Oh, to Black Tiger.
Yeah, I think that she was living there for a while, like when she first got there, or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's a great journey, and yeah, if you see kind of her everyday life, it's yeah, she just wants to do her thing, man, and so yeah, it's people coming at her. She's the champ now, to be expected, right? I don't know, but Ghost Phantom with a great point, man. Totally true.
This was a fight that builds itself because of their skill set. That's all we needed. That's literally all we needed. We didn't need all this extra bullshit. We didn't need this Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington bullshit. We didn't need that out of this fight.
Yeah, and I've seen this too. This comment here from Rue. Plenty of people have been saying this as well.
Rue said, "You would think that Rose would be motivated by the fact that Whaley is a dangerous fighter and they are fighting for a belt, not by saying she's fighting for freedom." Yep.
You would think. Yeah, as you said, you would think.
Jimmy, Whaley has a hard time getting to the U.S. even after being in Andrade. Tulsi even had to help her get her visa. That's right. Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm. Good point. And then he says that no, they only live 5 minutes away.
Maybe it was another fighter that I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Yeah, could have been.
Rue says when Whaley was at China top team, she used to commute 3 hours after her kindergarten teaching job and receptionist. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I get all scrambled up.
Totally fair. But yeah, loaded topic there. Just hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what. She's already said it, right? So, hi, Alex. Good to shift to some happiness. Hi, Betty. How's it going? All right. Well, that was only the first question of the mailbag. As I said, there's a shitload today, and Ghost has more for us here. So let's get into those. And there are definitely some good ones here that are.
Ghost always brings the good questions.
Oh yeah, he brings the heat, and a little bit behind the scenes type of questions here. So I lumped them two together here. So take your pick for.
Okay, so I'll start with the top. Why do some reporters choose to ignore some of the undercard fighters? Don't they know that some of those fighters won't be in the undercard forever? You would think.
So
but I think I think that it's the people that get the most notoriety are the people like Ariel Helwani and Brett Okamoto, Mark Raimondi, and whatnot. And that's all they care about. They don't give a shit about the people the curtain jerkers. They don't care about them. They want the clicks from Conor McGregor, Amanda Nunes, and whoever else is champion at the time. That's Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz because he talks. They don't care about the Corey Sandhagens until they get to the championship fights.
Well,
that's why you need to hold on. That's why you need to expand and get out of the ESPN MMA fighting realm and go to the Body Lock and Scrap, My MMA News. There's a lot of little sites that have very good writers like Drake who actually give a fuck about the sport and not just their own clicks.
Wow. I almost cut you off for a great compliment, man. Thank
Dude,
you.
that's why I told you, hold on, because I was building. I was moving up.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that as well, Ghost. That's why I like what Drake does in interviews with smaller fighters. That's the thing for me, man, is, I just like to tell stories. I like to be a storyteller, no matter what it is, really. But obviously, I love MMA, and that's what I do for a living. So, telling stories in MMA is my favorite thing to do. And with fighters who haven't had their stories told yet, that is the best part and the most satisfying part when somebody, you can be there for somebody for the very first time, or maybe not the first time, but early on to where they're still not getting enough love and help give them love by doing them a real solid,
Yeah.
highlight of a verbal highlight reel of sorts. Of course, they have their in-cage highlights and all that, but something that really helps them stand out as an individual and lets them connect with people on a bigger scale than just as a fighter. Because that's the thing is like, my grandparents, for example, they read my stuff. They like to if they can, and for them, they don't follow MMA really, but they are interested in the stories. And so when you think about having that kind of audience, or what I try to do, I guess, essentially is craft a story from what they're providing to one that obviously will connect with MMA fans, and that shouldn't be hard at all because they're MMA fighters, but where it's also relatable to everybody, something that is interesting to everybody. And if you're good enough, talented enough as an interviewer or a writer, whatever, that shouldn't be difficult because in the end, these are all humans who have stories that aren't just about fighting. So
Right.
you can,
Yep.
there's always so many layers to everybody. And, the people who haven't gotten their chance to share them, it just makes it all the more exciting for everybody involved who is working on that with them. So, yeah, man, that's the best. But I wanted to say, to be fair to the guys you kind of mentioned, the ESPN guys, the bigger dogs, top of the food chain guys, they also they can go for those big people, right? Like they don't have to go for the lower, newer people anymore. As great as that would be fucking amazing if they did that. If I was at ESPN, I would still be talking to the same people I would do
For
because
sure.
that gives them a much bigger platform than what I can already provide for them.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to do. Of course, ESPN, it's like it creates there's only so much time to go around, right? They do want the big people and they have access to them, right? Like I can't just go and talk to any
Unless if
champion
you're
whenever I want.
unless if you're Ariel Helwani with Ali Abdelaziz fighters, then you get no access at all, and Brett gets all of it.
There is also that. So, um, yeah, it kind of depends, I think, in what your current position is and your passion. Like I started out doing this to where like I felt like I kind of had to do some things to kind of get by, but now I'm pretty comfortable to where okay, I can do what I want and still, be pretty comfortable with everything, which is kind of the spot you want to be, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people who are like just starting out, and this is something James Lynch says a lot, shout out to James, but there are a lot of people who kind of just jump on in and they want to talk to big notable people right away. Doesn't
not how
fucking work that way, man.
not how it
Doesn't fucking, and you shouldn't try to do that anyway because, like we're kind of mentioning here, it is so much more rewarding, not only for the feeling you get and just being a good person by helping out somebody who doesn't get the spotlight as much as someone else, but also much more rewarding because if they go on to blow up, then you made that connection early. That's also very satisfying, right? To watch the journey from the beginning, help them out early on, and still be able to tell the story later on. Like
Yeah.
you can't, not just for those people. Like don't get ahead of yourself. I guess that's the main thing to take away from trying to do this is fucking understand kind of where you are. Be realistic, I guess. So, yeah, it's kind of a mixed answer there, Ghost. But I hope I got you there
No,
a bit.
I mean, I think that that was the good answer. That was the answer that it was needed.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, you guys. And
Okay, well, Ghost asked another question. What is asked in the fighter meetings that aren't addressed during the media scrums during fight week?
hold on, man. You guys are gonna make me cry. These comments are really getting to me here. Just I see, Rue pointing out how I did mention Whaley before the Tisha fight.
Yeah.
Nobody thought she was gonna, going to be champion at that time. Only 2 fights in the UFC when I had her. And Alex, yeah, great stuff with the humanizing series. Very, goes back to getting people to be relatable. That's the definition of it. What he does there. And Jimmy, this one got me. This really touched the heart right there of the Whaley Remember Me being one of your favorite stories. That is one of my favorites as well that I did, and especially in hindsight and just how things have turned out. She worked with me so well for that, and it was incredible. And before she was very, very famous. Yeah, and that's a thing too, Rain. Like nobody talked to Whaley during her pre-fight scrum before Danielle Taylor and that kind of thing. And shameless plug here before we get to the shameless plugs, like Liang Na. I talked to Liang Na, who one of the newer signings for the UFC strawweight. At a top Chinese prospect. Like these newcomers, and especially the international ones. People don't really. This is the time to talk to them, man, before they even fight. Like, let people know about these fighters who have, built up plenty of a solid career before getting to the UFC, and who knows what can happen. So I was very, very happy to get to talk to her, and I've been trying to do it for months. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, you can check it out. My MMA News for that one, and my YouTube channel, Liang Na, who fights on the same card as Whaley next week. So. Similar situation could be there, I mean, a very talented individual, and people just, it's also a little bit of laziness, I think, like people have to do more research for fighters like this because it's not readily available. Like the UFC stuff, it's so in your face, but for like these newcomers or prospects who are still coming up, it's like, oh man, I don't really know anything, so I got to go and learn a bit more than what I already know. Like that's just it's being brought to them, right? With a lot of fighters who in the UFC, even after like 2-3 fights, however many, you're building your way up. But for somebody like Liang Na, for example, you really got to dig a little bit, and then the translator, all that stuff. People just they don't even want to bother.
They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with all that. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's hard. Like I don't think that people realize like what an interview really takes, especially written interview. It's kind of easy to go one-on-one with somebody over a video camera. A written interview is totally different because then you have to start transcribing, but put in a translator in the mix, dude. It's not easy work.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I've got pretty much the hang of it down at this point. But for I can see how it can be jarring for some people. But man, it's just so satisfying. I think if you really enjoy the sport and like these fighters, like it shouldn't be as hard as people make it out to be. But I get it; it is a lot to do. So, not to toot my own horn or anything, but yes. Ghost, gotta love the patience there. I know she turned down UFC opportunity. What was it, 4 years ago, 2017? She could have been in a lot sooner. So see, just investing in yourself.
You don't see that very often. Didn't we talk about this last week?
Yeah,
where we don't see fighters say no to the UFC very often. She's one of them. We didn't even say her, and you interviewed her.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. But all right. As for Ghost's other questions, apologies, Ghost. We got you here so much. You give us so much, man. So
okay. So
what is
the fighter meetings that aren't addressed during the media scrums during fight week?
I mean, I don't know 100%. I don't think either of us have the answer for this exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's just like kind of bullshitting around, like talking about technique and how things are going, I guess. Like think about what I know that Don't the NFL commentators get to talk to like the athletes a little bit before too? So like similar shit to that. It's nothing super.
That, yeah.
Yes, nothing super in depth. You know, we obviously don't get to see those things, but I don't think it's anything too crazy. You know, so
probably not. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, Rain, you are correct there. Yeah, both Liangna and Whaley, you know, turned down their first opportunities. Wanted to really hone the skills, get some good experience under their belts, and hey, paid off for one of them.
It worked out.
It's not a bad move. That's belief in yourself, man, for sure. So, all right, thank you so much for those, Ghost. You are the man. I appreciate you coming through in live and beforehand. So, all right, moving on to two fun ones here. Actually, one very compelling one, and one is a little bit silly. Here we are. Tom Weston, STD combo.
So, Tom asked, why is it that there are seemingly far less eye pokes in women's MMA compared to men's? I haven't been able to find data to back it up because there's no data. But it seems there's almost never an eye poke in the women's game.
It's a great point. I never realized this.
So yeah, exactly. Like, thank you, Tom. I talk to him all the time. When he's also a Cali boy. When
West Side.
When he asked the question, so I started thinking, right, and I was like,
yeah.
Well, I think it's because women give a fuck a little bit more than men do. They're caring. They have the caring. They want to fight, but they don't necessarily want to gouge somebody's eye out.
Leave some permanent damage or something.
Whereas a dude doesn't give a fuck what happens to his opponent as long as he wins. Women are nurturing, whereas men are not as much. That's like where my mind went. Because Tom, there is no data for this. There's no data for this. But you're right. Like, we don't see dick kicks very often in the women's game. And
we got one last week. I don't remember which fight it was, but somebody got crotch kicked.
But we hardly, I don't even know the last time there was an eye poke. Like, I have no idea.
The only one that comes right to mind was Porto Gonzalez. It ended the fight, remember? That's the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah, or Megan and Kat.
Right, but that wasn't even a finger poke. That one doesn't count because it's a freak accident. But yeah, just those two, I guess.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, wild. Great question though. Like, great question.
I know. That's very interesting. Those are the only ones that come to mind.
STD, another Cali boy. When Gabby Garcia gonna fight a real opponent instead of smashing a grandma.
Well, she's supposed to be grappling Craig Jones here soon.
Fighting Craig Jones in a grappling ring. So at some point, that's a dude. So, and he's one of the best grapplers in the world. So there you go. But as far as fighting, I don't even know if she's gonna fight ever again.
Honestly, I don't. Her MMA career could be done. Probably, maybe not by her, accord. But in terms of Ryzen, because that's obviously where most of her career is. Just from what I know, it sounds like probably done with that experiment. That run could probably done. So probably won't see Gabby and Ryzen anymore, which limits her options of fighting significantly. So
where else is she gonna go?
Exactly. Oh, I know she had one fight somewhere else, but
Fight Circus, buddy.
There it is. You cracked the code right there. Yep. Gabby, that's too perfect.
Go fight some sumo dude or something. I don't know, or a couple of 115-pound dudes on stilts. I don't know.
I think that's the best case for her.
I think that's where she belongs. Really, is the circus of the fight.
Can't argue. So, well, I love the curiosity though. STD.
Full Metal Dojo.
Yep.
They were supposed to have an event and it fell through over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
It'll do that.
I actually have fun watching Fight Circus. Like, I literally enjoy it. Like, I know.
I mean, it's intentional madness.
I know I'm a little crazy, but I mean, holy shit, that's wild MMA, and I'm here for it.
It's wild.
It's not even all MMA. It's fucking literally everything. They have Lethway. They have kickboxing. Dude, it's crazy. I love it. I love that shit.
It is
I won't wake up for Rise and Brawl. I'll wake up for fucking Full Metal Dojo. And I'm dead serious. I'm dead fucking serious.
Okay. All right. Enough. Let's get out of the mailbag. That was. I think that was probably our best mailbag. Honestly, there was some.
It was
good
the
stuff
funnest
there.
one that we've had, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we had some very serious topics and some very fun topics. So that was very good there. Appreciate you guys so much. Truly. And
yeah.
all right.
I say it every week. Without you guys, there is no Drake and I. I mean, we would literally be talking to each other. And what kind of fun is that?
Yeah, it's not the same.
It really isn't. I mean,
we made it work. We can do that. We can work with it. This has definitely been much more fun to go live. I think we can both agree on that since we have started 45 episodes ago.
Oh yeah, 100%. Also, we weren't going at 2 hours either.
Right. Very true. Very, very true.
We were going we were going like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, that was kind of generally typical. I think the format, I'd have to go back and look, but we kind of changed up the format a little bit over the iterations, of course, but I think we got it down pretty good right now. So.
We definitely changed the format for sure.
Yeah. So, news time, everybody, and a light load of news here, which if I miss something, let me know because it's a fairly light load of news. But here's one to kick things off. Sad news and news that was brand new to Steve starting out here today. Yeah. So maybe news for you guys as well, but a bummer, a big bummer.
Yeah, so Roxanne Modafferi is injured and out of her fight with Taylor Santos. I didn't know about this. Drake gave me the little rundown of our thing, and I was like, Roxanne Modafferi, what happened to her? Didn't even know.
Yeah, I think it was buried by Bellator stuff. It might have been on Friday. So just the timing of the news coming out was, yeah. But sucks, but at the same, it just sucks, but I was going to say maybe fortunate that she doesn't have to fight Taylor Santos now because Santos, proven to be pretty beastly, but then that sucks for her as well not to get this opportunity to, further jump up the rankings, but meniscus, I believe it's a tear. It says injury here in this tweet from Alex K. Lee. Shout out to him at MMA Fighting, but I believe she tore it. So surgery, I believe, there as well. So wishing her a speedy recovery. I mean, if it's not the first major injury she's had, it's the one she's had in a long while. I don't remember the last time she's had to deal with something like this. Roxanne's generally pretty active, I don't know if she's ever missed a year in her career, but just wishing her the best.
Was this done in training or was this done at Submission Underground, which she competed at a couple of weeks ago?
Let's see if we can get some further detail here. Let me open the article. Let's not be lazy today, huh? What do we got? Knee injury has knocked Roxanne out of her bout. Was scheduled by Taylor Santos. Meniscus tear. Yep, so that is true. Undergo surgery.
It sucks.
To address the injury. No timetable yet for her return. First fight of the year. It doesn't say how it happened. No, maybe she's said something. I'm sure that she probably has, but yeah, that sucks. So. Wish her the best. Hopefully she comes back soon. I mean, it's extra shitty because of
As exactly. When I saw this, I was like, that was my initial thought was, oh shit, she's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
And fighting age, and fighting age.
Right. Especially with her career.
Stamina says Roxanne having leg injuries and unfortunate, inopportune as it gets. Sucks, dude.
Yep. So, Jimmy with a random question. Appreciate it. Why is everyone in the chat?
Whaley. Do you guys
I'm
know
assuming
why we
Whaley
like
fan.
her? Drake and Steve.
I don't know. This
Well,
sounds like you're
like what?
making us ask a question.
I don't know, like what it. I don't know why somebody wouldn't like Whaley. Like she's literally never given anybody reason not to like her, other than Rose Namajunas, which is like a weird ass reason not to like her.
Yeah, I mean, clearly a phenomenal fighter and fantastic personality.
There's
when
nothing
you get
not to like about her. Like, unless if you're a racist bigot, that's literally it.
Yeah, pretty much. She's given people no reason really to.
She hasn't.
Dislike her, so yeah, is what it is, unfortunately. But all right, what is he got another one here? Rain just saying, why he likes her.
Yeah, I like her because of her fighting ability and work ethic. I mean, and like when she talks, she's very sweet. Like she hasn't given us any kind of sound bites where we're like, ooh, that's tough. Stamina says, what's not to like? She's a monster in the cage and a sweetheart outside of it. Singular focus plus good sense of humor equals a win. Yeah, I agree with that.
Combo.
100% Stamina.
Yep. And I encourage everybody, which I'm sure most of you guys have checked it out by now, especially, but Ramiz Atik's channel, where he was teaching her English when he was there, just phenomenal behind the scenes stuff, and really get to see her personality in those videos. Teach, Train, and Travel. That's his YouTube channel. So shout out to Ramiz. I haven't talked to him in a while, but great guy as well. So yeah, Ghost Phantom, a great point as well. The training videos get a lot of people.
There's something about her when you see her work out, I can't really explain it. Yeah, like she's fit as fuck and she's tough and like it's crazy, dude. Like what is it? What is there not to like about her?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't look into too much random comment sections and see like trolling too much, but I don't really see, from what I see, too many haters or at least people discrediting her abilities. No, not really. Her talent's pretty undeniable at this point.
Yep, I think what it is people were just getting kind of fed up of not seeing her fight. Up until now, which we've talked about a million times on the show. It really had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with where she was and how the world was.
Yep, indeed. And Jimmy here saying Ramiz's channel is where he found out about Whaley. That's pretty awesome, man. That's a huge compliment, to Ramiz's project that he did there. So I'm sure he would love to hear that as well. But that is awesome, yeah. Great stuff that he did, and hopefully he can get back on that, when things are all done, because he plans on doing that. He wanted to, to circle back to Ghost Phantom's question about people speaking to, more undercard guys or like that. You want to talk about really doing that? Ramiz was planning, I'm sure you know this, Steve, and everybody who's seen my interview with him, his next fighter he was going to do that same thing with that he did with Whaley was Hamzat. He was going to teach Hamzat English and live with him. Holy fuck, man, that sucks for him that, COVID happened and prevented that. But, geez, you want to talk about investing in those guys, those stories who are not there yet? Man, that's doing it right there. Going to live with them, teaching.
Yeah, that would have been wild, dude, to see him and Hamzat together.
He had it already, but he had everything lined up, and just the world just turned into shit. So sucks really bad, and I'm sure was very upset about how things turned out as well. But yeah, it circles back to invest in these fighters, man. You never know where things can. You never know where things can go. How much where they can end up and your involvement in that. So, all right. Anyway, first fight announcement, which we have already hinted at earlier, going back to the Bellator recaps. One of their poster girl, pretty much, aside from, Alima's getting knocked off the perch now, so or Cyborg.
Valerie Lareda versus Hannah Guy added to Bellator 258 on May 7th. As I said before, Valerie Lareda was my most marketable fighter of 2020, and we'll see how she gets going in 2021.
And shout out to Tommy T for breaking this news.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
My favorite writer in, maybe not just favorite writer in general, honestly. I'm not just saying that because I'm good buddies with Tom, but he is the man. Check out his stuff if you haven't.
And it was cool because it was for Maxim.
Yeah, definitely. He's done more writing than just MMA. He's a very talented guy. So love some Tommy T. But yeah, as for this news, it is what it is. It's that continued slow build, and not to knock Hannah Guy. I think she is a better opponent than the last 3 that Valerie's had in her career so far, but we really need to see some good improvements from Valerie, as we touched on earlier. Excuse me. Her performances, her finishes have been good, but I don't know if her performances in these last 2 fights anyways have been all that great overall, right? Like, great finishes, great wins ultimately, but just leading up to that, she's just still very, very green. I'm curious to see how much she's added on. Still very young, all that stuff, but just very, very green to be ranked number 9 and, treated the way she is, aside from, getting matchups that are more around the level she should. But I don't know. I can't say I'm super mad at this one exactly, because Hannah Guy, she does only have 1 loss in her amateur and professional career, was undefeated as an amateur. Her only pro loss is to Kayla Racho, which was a split decision, so not a bad one, at this stage here. And so she's also a very, a young prospect, 25, the Hurricane. But not we'll see if she can make for a decent test and step up. And Steve, I think you're just kind of shrugging. What do you think about it?
I'm not really there to watch her fight.
So, yeah.
I'm with Stamina.
What we got?
Lareda. Meh. Everything to look at, nothing to watch. I can't even pretend I care yet. I like how she looks.
She hasn't shown it, right? I mean,
she hasn't shown anything. I mean, like you were saying earlier, there was, she ends up pulling it out of her fat ass. The highlight finish.
Yeah. But it masks everything that happened before.
But the whole fight, she gets hit. She gets hit, dude. She's open to getting hit, which could be fun for her too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she likes that shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
She is a fighter. Maybe she likes getting hit. Shit, I don't know.
I'm sure it's not intentional.
maybe she gets fucking hard off of it. I don't know. Or in her case, wet.
I just love so much how in a week, 2 weeks now, that we have our own inside joke or inside thing with the Kana stands now. I love this. Everybody's Jimmy here with this one. People like her assets, but really want Kana to be champion. Rue with the Stamina. I think everyone in the chat agrees with you, since we all root for Kana. I love this so much, you guys. We need more of our own memes, so this is one. Even though we are legit about Kana being champion.
So it's literally fuck everybody except for Kana and Whaley.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Kana, Whaley to the top. Who else do we really like, you guys? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people.
We like Tracy Cortez.
We'll get to her. Rain Loretta is not even likable in her reviews. Kana for the win. I love this. This is my favorite thing. Yeah.
Loretta isn't likable. Like she's kind of She's kind of bitchy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh, Jimmy even said it. She's so
Oh,
emotional.
did he?
Yeah, she's emotional.
She's young.
She
She's
is
so
young.
young.
You're right. And
Yes,
Yan
we
Jianan.
absolutely stand Yan Zhao Nan Rain. That is right. One of my favorites indeed. Her and Kanako, still my top two. Thank you for mentioning Yan. Always happy to talk about her. And there's Ghost. Shout out to Kana. Always. Gotta love it, you guys. Oh man, this is seriously my favorite thing. I'm gonna tell her about this next time I talk to her as well. So you guys keep it up. Next time I talk to Kana, I'm gonna give her the WMA Today Army support, and she's gonna love it. I know it. So I'm very excited now. I should hit her up as soon as I can.
That's hilarious.
I think her quarantine might be about done too, so that would have been good to catch her in there. But we'll see what we can do, you guys. All right, moving on to, I guess that was our only fight announcement of the week. I didn't realize that, but
there's not much going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but it's already booked and set, you know.
Literally always fights, yeah. And now we're going with fights.
Stamina, he missed all this fun, and now he's in on it. Ghana supremacy, our dude. What a guy.
Stamina, it's been a couple of weeks now that you haven't been in the chat, right? So all of a sudden, we've become a Kana support group. but I like the shaking of hands emoji because I mean you haven't been here for much lately, but you're here now and you're with it.
It's a true supporter there, true friend. Stamina knows what's up. Yeah, believe him.
Love it.
Rain, yes, Kana's awesome. Can't wait. Oh man. Fantastic. All right. So anyway, for the last bit of news, which I think this came out Sunday, I think. Grappling action. Didn't see this one coming, Steve.
Yeah,
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did, but didn't see it coming, and I like the matchup. It's going to be fun. Liz Tracy versus Jillian Robertson, added to Submission Underground 22 on April 25th. Man, I like it. I mean, Liz is kind of a monster, dude. I don't know if Jillian's going to be able to hang.
Dude, honestly, I wish that this was made as a fight. I would like to see this MMA fight. Like, they're both flyweights. Come on, give Tracy some love, UFC. Sign her. Bring her in.
That would be wild.
That wouldn't be bad either after, Jillian's lost 2 in a row now?
Yeah.
Not 3. She's not lost 3 yet. And Liz, I believe, what was Liz Tracy's last fight? Let me look it up here. I'm pretty sure she...
It would be wild if...
Brogan Walker?
If they did this and then the UFC was like, oh, hell, come to the UFC for this fight against Jillian Robertson. After they did that.
Could be a ticket if she can go out there, submit Jillian in a reasonable, just in the regulation time. Hey man, I mean, that'd be good. That'd be very impressive, so I don't hate it. Don't hate it at all. And I'm not looking at the comments, but I see there are some, there more Kana love going on here.
That's all they're talking about.
Jimmy, whenever Valerie's mentioned, we always bring up Kana for some reason. Stamina. It's balance. Balance it out, Jimmy. Yep, this is very true. Nothing wrong with it. Kana is awesome. Yeah. Oh man, fantastic. Just always got to find a way to direct the conversation to being about Kana now. That's what.
Well, I think it's every time that we talk about the Bellator flyweight division, it's always going to go to Kana.
Right. So that means we're about to talk more about Kana as we got the Bellator 257 preview, and we're starting off with some flyweight action. Actually, no. Excuse me. I'm going to put you guys on hold. Apologies. I forgot to switch these up. This is also a very big talking point, Steve, actually. So I'm glad that we can flip this here real quick. Apologies,
are we going
everybody.
to Julia Budd now? Right now?
Julia Budd, Diana Silva is on the prelims.
Dude, it's like the
So,
third fight.
is it? I saw that. I think it's the second to last, actually,
Oh, well,
which is better, but it's the former champ,
former
man.
champion, yeah, like for so long, and she's fighting somebody with no picture. This is like no love from Bellator at all.
After she already won again, too. Like, wow, kind of baffling. um, you know, a little disrespectful, a little disrespectful.
Crazy.
Not only the card placement, but the fight, but the matchup.
Well, I mean,
He's getting a
yeah,
newcomer.
yeah,
This is similar to Cat versus Parker.
yeah.
Not as bad. Not as bad. That one's the worst, but this shouldn't be happening. This should not
I
be
don't
happening.
know. This could be bad too. This could be very, very bad.
Yes, it very well could, but I mean, Diana Silva probably would have beat Olivia Parker as well, but I mean, there's levels to this shit, Steve. As you know, as you're a strong component of that, Julia Budd, this should be no problem for her. I mean, she's been there, done that, seen it all, has literally only lost to the greatest fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Diana Silva, as much of a veteran as she is, very seasoned for the career that she's had so far, and finally getting to Bellator, good for her. But man, this says your debut. No good. No good. It's not going to be a good time. And, everybody's got a striker's chance. But this is Julia Budd we're talking about. This is maybe a more motivated champ than, when she was the champ. And
I would hope
Seamus Bug
so.
did speak with her as well before this fight. You can check that out. Miami News, my YouTube channel as well. I got the vibe that she's definitely got a bit of a chip on her shoulder, she was when you were the first and only of something, and something like the featherweight division that gets so criticized. She was the first and only featherweight champion in Bellator. When you're like that kind of person, you were the I don't want to say statue, but you're that thing, right? And that gets taken away from you from somebody also coming in, but it is Chris Cyborg, who is also the big fish, what have you.
She's been around forever.
When you're, the roles are reversed though in that case, and then that gets taken away from you. Like, man, I can't imagine what that would feel like. And I don't know if you got to watch it yet, Steve, or check it out, but I asked her about the comparison to Alima's reaction to losing the title, and if she felt the same way as Alima, where Alima was like, it was a pressure relief. She was kind of, a weight lifted off of her a little bit to not have that championship pressure. Alima felt that way, and Julia was like, nope, not even. I really hate how things turned out. I want the belt back as quickly as I can. So I think it's going to be a bad night for Diana Silva if we're going to just...
Fighters are different, man. Fighters are different. They take loss different. Yeah. And it seems like that Julia Budd is pissed off and hungry, which is not good for Diana Silva.
Right.
Could end up very violent, which I think probably will happen.
So here's the question then, and Jimmy kind of presents it here. Do we think that this will be a worse outcome, like more violent, I guess, than last week? So
right.
As he mentioned here.
That's what we were talking about with Parker and Kat Zingano. Yeah, because Julia Budd, she's a hard hitter. She's mean. Kat Zingano's not mean. She's just a good fighter.
Not the way she used to be anyway. Kat used to be pretty nasty, but
she's not anymore. Julia Budd, on the other hand, she's fucking mean, dude.
Yeah.
This is not gonna be good for Silva. She's gonna hurt this girl.
Yeah. Pretty much there's many ways to do it, and I can't help but agree with Stamina. Like he says Bellator's fumbling 145, their choice of late.
I think we talked about this before Stamina even came in. Where we talked about this with Kat Zingano when we recapped. Bad matchmaking. It's just
And they've
matchup.
done so good. And all of a sudden, even Leslie Smith, the Leslie Smith rematch, I think you could have gone, Kavanaugh, Zingano, the Bud rematch. I know you've been wanting that, Steve. Like,
I do. I'm okay with it not happening.
Yeah, still a little soon, but I understand.
Right away, But I would like to see Julia Budd get back in there with Cyborg one more time, because I think that she's a better fighter than what we saw in that fight.
Absolutely.
We've seen years of Julia Budd being incredible, and she was not incredible in that fight against Cyborg. But I think that she's better than what she gave in that fight, and I think that she knows that she's better than that.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into Rain's point here, which I'll say my piece after you read it.
What's crazy is the gap between Cyborg and the rest of the division, but Bud is still on a pretty high level relative to the division.
So, as for the Cyborg and Bud fight, yes, very, very clear, great, fantastic performance for Cyborg. But really, I just think that it was the pressure of that position and the game plan, that the combination of that for Julia just really fucked her in that fight. Like, she fought exactly how she should not have fought. Like the approach to that fight, we knew, and I've been saying it for a good while, that she has all the tools when she's on to be able to beat Cyborg. But then on that night, she did the complete opposite. Just way too patient. Let Cyborg really dictate everything. Like, it was just a bad night, like you said. I think she's definitely better than she's shown. Not to say that a rematch would go differently, but I just think that, she has those capabilities. It's just a matter of she went about it so wrong in that first fight, which, happens sometimes, I guess. But
it does happen, but I mean,
stamina's heated.
She was like a Volkswagen Beetle going up against a Mack truck in that fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
She needs to come. She needs to come up to her tank level. Tank against tank this time around. Stamina says, "Bruh, in no multiverse will I ever give a single shit about Cyborg fighting Smith again." Leslie Smith. Who the fuck asked for that garbage? Make it make sense. We can't. Like we talked about this last week. We can't make it make sense because it doesn't make sense. We can't make things that don't make sense, Stamina. We can't do it.
I wish we could, man. I wish we could.
We can't though. I don't know. I don't know why they did this. Here we are again. Bellator has very good fights that they could, give us fresh fights. But here we are with Leslie Smith going up against Chris Cyborg, who she lost to already many years ago. And Chris Cyborg is still at the height where Leslie Smith is not there not there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is, man. I don't know.
Well, Jimmy, this is just Bellator. He's asked, "What is this matchmaking? Yeah. Bud versus another overmatched opponent." That's exactly what it is. It's tough. I don't like shitting on Bellator, dude. I really don't, because I mean, I enjoy their shows. I enjoy going to their shows live. I've done press for their shows, and I enjoy it. I enjoy Bellator.
Always great, yeah.
But it's these kind of fights that make me go, fuck, why? And I do think, I mean, Drake, how are you picking Julia Budd to beat Silva? Like, what round and how? I know you're picking Bud, but how? And like, how quickly? Like you did last week with Kat Zingano. Right. You know what I mean? Like, how quickly is this going to happen?
I think I'm going to give Diana Silva a bit more credit than
Olivia
Parker because of the experience she has. She's got 14 fights and she's been fighting for a good while. But levels to this. This is very similar to that matchup. It should have been Bud versus Zingano, Parker versus Silva. No debate about it. I think Diana will last to the second round, but I think she's going to get TKO'd. I think ground and pound. Yeah.
I'm with you on the ground and pound.
It's sure. Bud by whatever she wants.
Yeah, dude. I think that she has this fierceness, and I really hope that fierceness comes out. She can end this fight in the first round easily. I think it's just like how quickly she wants it to happen.
Yeah, and her stepson is fighting on the card as well.
This card again, they're fighting on the same card again.
Mm-hmm. So that's always a good boost, of course, and that camaraderie to have with fighting together. So, but yeah, Rue, I don't know, man. That she can. I don't know. It might be worse in that sense. Like, what can she showcase? Because for Kat, we said, well, what does it prove for her? Really nothing, but if anything, that she can still finish people, kind of. But for Julia, she's only a fight, one fight removed from being the champion. Like, I don't know if it can do anything, unless she knocks her out in like seriously quick, like 15 seconds, just a stunning walk off. That's probably the one thing we're like, all right, nice, that's. Makes sense.
To be honest,
kind of.
I want that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's
I like ferocious Julia Budd. I like the mean Julia Budd. I really do, and I want that to come back.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic point too by Rue. So,
what could she gain by fighting Silva? Good opponents push you to different levels. She's already been a champion. Like. The good opponents would be Chris Cyborg again, or like an Arlene Blanco, or Kat Zingano. Those are the opponents that she should be facing.
Even Kavanaugh, she hasn't fought.
Kavanaugh would be a good one too. Those are the opponents that she should be facing. Not Diana Silva, not Olivia Parker.
Yeah, Jimmy, we're with you, man.
Bud was literally a champion a few months ago, and they gave her this. And she's so far down on the undercard as well. Like, it's
incredible.
It sucks. It's tough. It's tough to see as a fan of the sport,
Yeah. Yeah, but all right. What is your official?
Oh, dude, she's gonna finish it like you and TKO, ground and pound. I think. First, second round. I hope it's the first round so that she can prove a point.
Get it over with, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that she can prove a point. Just go out there and fucking prove the point that she's fucking here. Wake up, bitches. Yeah,
the jewel's here to stay. Yep. So, all right. Well, as for actually exciting real matchups we're very excited to get, and back to what will turn into Kana talk. As I said, we do have flyweight action. Super excited for this fight to finally be happening, Steve.
Yeah, so Vida Ortega and Desiree Yanez
both have pictures.
crazy how they can do that. I'm really happy that Yanez gets to fight again. It's been a while. I wish we would have seen the Super Melly fight again. Yep, rematch. But she has a good opportunity in Bellator, and Vida Ortega is a really good opponent.
Oh yeah, and before we get further into this, I love this idea, stamina.
Back on the Bud. Motherfucker with promo afterwards, be like, "Yo, Scott, what the fuck, dude? This is how you're gonna do me?" Yeah, that's exactly what she should do. Exactly what she should do.
Yeah, that'd be great. Won't happen though, because that's not how Julia is as a person. But I would love that. I would adore it.
That's not how she is as a person, but that's like her attitude in the fight, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully your adrenaline's still pumping after he
Yeah.
gets a wicked knockout or something and she's
I hope
pissed
so.
off.
That'd be awesome. That'd be amazing stamina.
Especially after being put on the prelims, like crazy.
Oh,
But,
so stupid. When I saw that, I was like, dude, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
Rose says Bud versus Cat for a title eliminator. I think it should have already that's what makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Because that's where
the
they're
one.
going anyway. They're going to that anyway, so just get it over with.
Yeah, and especially having Cyborg and Smith, like if Julia comes out of this as unscathed as we expect her to, right?
Yeah.
Make Bud versus Cat. Put it on co-main. Put it on co-main for I know that's like a month away, but if you don't get hurt from your fights, Cat didn't. Like, why not?
Yeah, Cat did not get injured at all. She like just.
Yeah. So see how that plays out. But all right, time for Kana talk. I think everyone is just waiting for the Kana talk. Says Rain. Desiree Yanez, Vita Ortega. Super duper excited for this though, in all honesty. Yeah, man, you said Vita, great fight to welcome Desiree to the Bellator cage, and it was supposed to be her original welcoming dance partner the first time around. Was it months ago? When they were supposed to fight, and then Vita got COVID. I think that was what canceled it. Yeah, just matchup wise and looking at like current position, it's a great matchup. Very excited for this. Jimmy, yes, here we go. Connor for the win. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, so Vita, the interesting thing about her, I think, in this fight, you and I very much high on Desiree Yanez. Anybody who has seen her should very, very much so, be very high on her. She is a great talent, great prospect getting in there at this stage. Vita Ortega lost 2 fights in a row now. 2 very good competition. Alimale in her title fight where she got, the melon cracked open with just the gnarliest elbow you'll ever see. I was there for that, man. It sounded like wood being like fucking hit with a hammer. It was really insane. Were you there for that one too, Steve? Yeah, San Jose. Yeah, that shit was nasty. And then after that, Alejandra Lara, put it on her, but Vita's so fucking tough. She didn't go out. And I mean, the Alima loss was a doctor stoppage too. So she would have kept fighting with that hole in her face if she could have. She is she might be one of the toughest fighters in flyweight just across the board. She's insane. So that always makes for fun because of her ability to, get wild and, take damage as well. And Desiree is definitely going to be able to dish it out as well as take it. They're both very tough and exciting fighters. So this is just like the perfect matchup. But with Vita being 2-fight losing streak, hasn't fought in, all of last year. What's that?
She has a lot to lose.
Yeah, a lot to lose. But back against the wall kind of situation where you don't want to go on a 3-fight losing streak. You lost to the champ and then former title challenger. And then if you add on to that, a newcomer making their debut who, those who know about Yanez and how good she is. But to people who don't, they'll be like, oh, well, you lost to this prospect coming in. Like, that's not great. And it's a much bigger reward, I suppose, for Yanez. I mean, getting the win for Vita would be a big deal, but to beat somebody like Vita, and this is on main card. This fight's actually on the main card, so huge spot for her
awesome.
And them, which is great to see.
I'm so happy that they're putting Desiree Yanez on the main card.
Yeah, and
they're hoping for her, I think.
Yeah, so. Ryan he feels like he's seen Yanez. Combate, maybe LFA. You've probably seen her there.
Combate against Melly Martinez in that crazy great championship fight where
one of the biggest robberies you'll ever see.
where Yanez won the fight, but she didn't.
Yeah. Uh-oh, stamina. Stamina, important question here, Steve.
Yes, absolutely marketable. Stamina, you're right. Desiree Yanez is hot.
I mean, she's the full package, man, in terms of
She is.
exciting fighter, personality. Like I said it last week, but I spoke to her before this fight too. Like, just so infectious, kind of with her energy. And only 2 weeks out from the fight. Like, go check out that interview if you guys haven't seen her or heard of her yet. Before Desiree Yanez, I spoke with, and just so much energy and very happy. Just it's kind of radiates to you. So. Yeah, very great personality she has. Great story of how she got into MMA too. Just like, yeah, a very fun fighter to watch in kind of all areas. So I'm very excited to finally see her back after missing a year of action. And, she's chomping at the bit to get in there. She's very well-rounded, Steve. I don't know if I would say that she has a definitive strong point. She can do everything very well, but very good striking technique, can hang on the ground. I don't know. What would you?
I think her striking is better than her ground game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Her striking is actually really solid.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely is, and she can crack. She's got pretty good power for. Dude, she doesn't get like crazy knockouts yet or anything.
No, she's powerful shit though. Like I know you saw the fight with Melly Martinez.
Yeah,
dude, she hit her hard. She hit that girl hard.
Yeah, and then when she gets in top positions too, like she's very good at keeping fighters in place too, as we saw in the Melly fight as well. But
for a 5'2" girl, she's built like a tank.
Yeah, she really is, and that's the thing too about she's normally a strawweight. She's going back up to flyweight here. Only had, I think her debut was at flyweight, but so that should make her even more powerful. I mean, more comfortable. So it's going to be interesting to see, and taking on somebody like Vita, who
right now,
I know it's going to be good, man. Somebody like Vita, who is very similar in the sense that, you're pointing out Desiree's striking is probably her strongest point, which I'd probably agree with too now, actually. But for Vita, she's pretty well rounded too, and I think she excels less in one spot than maybe Yanez does. Like, we're generally seeing Vita get really nasty and in the clinch and that kind of stuff, I think. Get bloody, whether it's her opponent, whatever it is. I just think that Yanez, when it boils down to it, she's very refined, and especially for this point in her career and having had, a year away, that who knows, it could be an issue. But also, she pointed out to me, like, it's given her more time to get her body ready for flyweight and kind of pack on, being more muscular rather than just having weight, just random.
I can't wait to see how she actually looks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so
her physique, because she's already built. She's already built very, very well. But going up in weight, I want to see how she looks.
Mm-hmm. And
hopefully she brings more power too. Oh man, if she brings more power, she's already a strong girl.
Yeah, could be a problem, man. Could very well be a problem. And against somebody like Vita, that begs the question too, where she has been in all these wars so far and taken so much damage. Like,
what if Yanez is the one?
Right, yeah, to crack it.
Desiree Yanez is the one, making her Bellator debut, coming in and getting the girl who doesn't get finished.
Could be, and that's an exciting thought, especially on the main card and against somebody like Vita. So it's possible. I don't know if I'm bold enough to predict it, but I don't know. I just think that everything that Vita does pretty well, Desiree does just as well, if not a little bit better. I don't know. Did you have an argument there, or did you agree?
No, I agreed with that. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be all over the place. I think that Yanez is going to have the speed, the better accuracy, her striking, very good technique, as we mentioned. She moves very well, can hang on the ground. she can take the fight pretty much anywhere, and I have pretty good confidence in her. So I think that Vita's really going to have to make it nasty. I think utilize that clinch fighting that she likes to do, get her against the cage, and really kind of smother her without taking her to the ground, which could be a good path to victory. See Desiree on her back, but she's very capable of getting out of those positions, at least from what we have seen so far. But I don't know. Just ultimately, I think it boils down to Yanez's skill set being just a little bit more refined and better. So it's compelling, though, with the factors about it all, the layoffs, Vita's back against the wall, flyweight. I don't know. We'll see. But I like Yanez and everything we've seen from her in the past. More than Vita, just more consistently impressive. She should be 5-1. That Martinez fight, incredible. That I don't know what the judges, maybe a little favoritism, who knows there. But yeah, I'm gonna take Dirty Dez. What was that?
No, because I mean, when we talked about the fight, I know that I was like, I remember thinking that Super Melly was very good,
Yeah.
But then I was like, Desiree's also very good. So I didn't know how it was going to go down. But then as I watched it, I was like, all right, so Desiree was winning that fight to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, two very clear rounds, and I think one of them, from what I remember, was a 10-8 as well. 10-8. Like
that's what was it? Clearly. Second round? Was it 10-8?
Yes, second or third.
I think it was the second round.
Yeah, and then Melly won the first round, if I'm remembering correctly. But
yeah,
it was a very clear 2-1.
Mel won the first round for sure, but Desiree should have won the last two.
Yeah. So madness, but anyway,
bummer. But I mean, we're on to this one, and she has a great opportunity.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna say Dirty Dez by unanimous decision. You were almost swaying me there, and just thinking about it all, that she could be the one to crack Vita, but I think Vita's going to come in tip top with her back against the wall, so she'll survive, and make it really an awesome fight. But I just think Desiree's going to be too much, man. I really love what I've seen from her. So
she's so tough, though. Like it's hard to say Vita's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, it's like you can't predict that till you see it, right?
Because we haven't seen it. I mean, she should, dude. That fight against Alejandra Lara,
took some shots.
She was taking punishment, hard punishment, dude. She should have been finished in that fight, but she's so damn tough.
Yeah, anybody else probably.
Yeah, I think so. Laura looked great in that fight. Picking Yanez by decision. I hope that she goes in there and freaking gets a knockout. I would love that for her. But I mean, Ortega's so tough.
Excited to find out. And Jimmy coming in here asking, how do you guys think Yanez does at flyweight? I think she'll do very good, but not as good as Connor, right, Jimmy? So
she has the body type for it, but she's a lot shorter.
Yeah,
she's tiny. She's only like 5. What does it say there? 5'2"?
It says 5'2", which
I don't even know.
Like she's taller, man. It's
I don't know. I think she's smaller.
Yeah,
she's not a large girl at all.
I mean, how tall is Melly? Because they looked pretty similarly sized.
Like 5'1". I mean,
Desiree looked bigger.
Small.
Yeah,
she's small. She's like 5'1". They're not big girls. I know that's what I'm saying is it's going to be really interesting to see like how she fills out.
Right.
Definitely not as good as Connor. Nope.
And Go saying, coming in here, you gotta love fighters like Yanez, well-rounded early in their career. He says that in another one here. But and Rain asking, why is marketability so important? What happened to skill set, Steve?
Well, nothing happened to skill set. That's what gets them the wins. But marketability gets the eyes on them, especially for the women.
Right. And I mean, if we're going to look at this particular, Desiree Yanez, for example, here compared to, I guess anybody else, like they don't generally get these hype trains rolling until until they actually fight. Like who knows if they want to push Desiree the same way. I mean, it's typically not what they would do because she has a whole bunch of tattoos and everything. I guess we'll see. But like, look at Afsaragova, for example. I don't think that many people fucking knew she was fighting. Her next fight, everybody's gonna know. Like everybody's gonna know.
Yeah.
And same for Valerie. I know that there was more buzz around her debut because it was her very first fight. Like, and what she was like 21, 20 maybe still at the time, but she had a little bit more noise because she was actually starting MMA. Period. Where these fighters have been around for a year or two, however long. So, is what it is. Stamina. This one.
Said marketability isn't important. Bellator just get it fucked up every now and again. No, but Jimmy Rain, it's kind of a joke with us. I literally did a most marketable fighter of the year award. It's a joke for me, I mean, but also it gets, like I said, it gets eyes on them, and that's it for the marketability standpoint. I mean, it doesn't help them in the fight at all. Obviously, that
Right.
doesn't help them one bit. It's the lead up to the fight, though, where it comes in hand.
Right.
Is there more buzz on Valerie now? I mean, in this chat, everyone seems to love Kana. Mm-hmm.
You got that right, dude.
I think you go on social media. Yes, there is buzz on Valerie. Yes.
I mean, at this current moment in time, she hasn't fought since December or earlier than that because Bellator hasn't been around and Kana just fought. So I mean, the buzz is definitely more on Kana right now, I think.
Yeah, but once May 8th comes around, fight day comes around, Valerie Laredo
Bellator will stir it up. They'll stir it on up.
Oh yeah, 100%. Valerie Laredo will be talked about. Don't get that shit twisted.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably fucking put her on the main card. I'm sure. Actually, I don't know. Yeah. They haven't put her on one yet.
They haven't yet, so. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is the one. What card is that? Who's fighting on that card? Do you know? I haven't even looked.
I don't know if it's the Cyborg one, but it might be. What
May 8th?
250. Oh yeah, May 7th. Or
May 7th?
Is that wrong? Oh yeah, May 7th. I think Cyborg might be the week after, actually. I'm pretty sure. So, never mind.
May 7th, Archuleta and Pettis. So, Archuleta and Sergio Pettis.
Yeah, good.
One, Archuleta, Sergio Pettis, or Bantamweight Championship. And then there's Anthony Johnson and Yoel Romero. That's the big fight. Patchy Mix and Gallagher. That's also a good fight. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Pitbull. And then Valerie Laredo is on the main card. She's the opener.
All right, there we have it.
I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm really not.
No. Especially Showtime now. Makes sense.
And on the Anthony Johnson, Yoel Romero card, that's who.
Yeah.
There might be a bantamweight title fight, but everybody's going to that fight card for Rumble and Yoel.
Yeah, those are two great matchups. But as for these on Bellator 257, you guys, we are both in agreement. Desiree Yanez in a banger, and then Julia Budd in a one-sided trouncing. So, two very different stories in those fights, but Steve and I agree on the outcomes. So, with that in mind, there is UFC the day after, UFC Vegas 24. Let's get on in and through it. I'm starting to develop a pretty good headache here, Steve. It's been fun, but we got more fights to get through. So 3 of them coming up, UFC. So 5 in total this weekend, you guys. Just so much going on these days. kick it off with some bantamweights. And I actually didn't know that this fight was even happening till last week because we never even talked about it. No,
We
I don't.
didn't think about it
Did
at
they
all.
just put it there and we didn't know? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. So Zara Farron and Josiane Silva didn't know that this fight was going on, but it is. Oh, Nunes. Why did they put Nunes?
oh, whoops! I did that wrong. That was me. I put Silva. I don't know why I did. Josiane
Nunes.
Yeah, my apologies there. So yeah, funny. How funny is this? Zara Farron, was brought into the UFC as a featherweight. Now we're at bantamweight. That's my biggest thing about this, right?
Yeah, I mean we've seen it happen. So
Yeah. But I mean, as for the matchup, Josiane Silva, Josie coming in here, 7-1, riding a solid, 6-fight winning streak. She's actually a pretty decent fighter, at least from the career that she's had so far. Hasn't really fought anybody super notable, which is what it is, especially on the Brazilian regional scene. Sometimes you want to talk about slow builds, you can have some pretty good padding jobs done down there. Just how it is, is what it is. But let me pull that back up. She's actually, a very solid striker. Her last couple of fights all ended by knockout. And taking on Zara Farron, who we know has literally zero ground game, practically from the Spencer and Megan Anderson fights. And yes, they were at featherweight, but good Lord, just non-existent. So I expect this one.
Bantamweight.
Yeah, I know. She's definitely got a good size for the division.
Yeah.
And she is a decent striker. It's just that she has no ground game. And
Does that
taking on
say
Nunes.
Josiane is 5'2"? Is that what that says?
That is what that says. So
Is
not
that
sure how
right?
accurate that is.
A 5'2" bantamweight?
I mean,
dude,
could be.
Talk about a tank. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's like Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, literally, yeah. But Jessica's 5'2" or 5'1", and yeah, she used to be a bantamweight.
Yeah.
So similar to that. And
wow.
This probably will look funny, like physically next to each other.
Farron is going to be big.
Yeah.
While Josiane is going to be short and stocky. Like, holy shit.
That's going to be a reach battle here. Pretty decent difference, 67 to 72. I'm sure leg reach is probably going to be a little funny too. But
yeah, she's 5'8".
Matchup wise and skill wise, what they can do, they're both strikers. So the UFC actually put on a pretty good matchup stylistically in this one. Physically, it's probably going to look a little hilarious, but if Nunes can get in there, close the distance. We got some funny comments I missed in here. Oh yeah, how does she?
Also has 0-inch leg reach. Does she not have legs?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Very true. And Ghost, I see you pointing this out. Sorry, I just went over you right there.
No,
I wanted to point this out real quick. Ghost saying he wishes they would do scrums with these fighters so we get to know them better. Great point, man. If I knew this fight was happening, I would have tried to talk to Nunes. I would have, but I didn't realize it. And Farron, could have spoken to her sooner. Or is she French? She's not Brazilian, is she?
No, she's French.
Okay, never mind then. I don't have a French translator. But shout out to Mr. Alex Carvalho, who, he used to come in here live back in the day, but, he's got a lot going on, so he still checks the show out. But he helps me with the Brazilian translation. So Nunes, yeah, we can definitely get a hold of her at some point, whether if she wins or whatnot. So, yep.
It's going to look
Joanna
like
versus
Joanna versus Andrade.
Solid comparison, yeah.
In terms of height and reach difference, he says, Jimmy says. And then Salmon says, no, she has toes growing out of her hips.
That is a disturbing image to think of. I don't like that you put that in my head. So, but yeah, I think that this should be a pretty fun striking battle, and hopefully not some just ridiculous sloppy grappling battle. But even those are kind of fun because we just like grappling here, Steve, don't we? So I wouldn't be mad at it, but this is one of those cases where let's just see them bang, and they absolutely should. That's their bread and butter, 100%. And it's hard to judge fair and fairly, I think, because of those last two fights where, as we've said, there's levels to this. Farron is a solid striker and no ground game, but the people that she fought, higher level, and she's capable of fighting at bantamweight. Obviously, all these things where I don't think that those two fights were a fair representation of where she's at and what she's capable of. And in a matchup now like this, that's more around her position, right? Where she stacks up at the moment. So I think that it could be surprising to a lot of people. And I'm curious what the odds could be on this, because I am just sure that many people have no idea who Nunes is, and Farron, they'll remember for those losses, which is fair. That's what we've seen from her in the UFC and recently. So
You want to be shocked?
yes.
Bovada right now, plus 105 for Farron.
They have her as the underdog.
Minus 125 for Josiane.
So that's the thing is those odds. I think that they actually are fine because Nunes on a really hot roll right now.
I don't even know them.
Yeah, they really have no idea. But if we're gonna take those odds for what they are, that's probably like something I would do. But it's just so hard to judge Farron because she's gotten steamrolled against two fighters who she should have gotten steamrolled against. Like, that shouldn't happen in this one. But if it does, she's out of here, man. There's no way. This is another back against the wall situation. If you lose to a newcomer coming in, prospects like Nunes, you're donezo. You're totally donezo. And in a matchup that I would think, man, those first two losses were very bad. And yes, I know I'm making excuses kind of for her in this situation, but I don't know. So it's going to be tough to tell. I'm not sure in terms of if Nunes has fought in such a drastic like length difference from the fights and performances that I've seen. Nothing stood out to me like looking this crazy. But if she can handle getting in and out without taking too much, she should be able to win. But I'm going to give Farron some love, man. I think that she's a good enough striker and will be able to work with this matchup and keep her job essentially. So I'm going to believe in Sarah Farron, and you know what? I'm going to be even as bold to say that she finds the finish TKO in round 2. So
I'm going with the no legs. I like no legs.
Fair, very fair. I'm excited to see her, come on in.
Yeah,
we'll take anything at bantamweight, right? We'll take anything, but
literally,
she's got some good momentum going.
I don't know how she's gonna get it done, but she's gonna win.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. Solid.
5'2", little tank.
If Andrade could win at bantamweight. Yeah. Is this a Shanna Dobson situation? You mean similar to Agapova? Assuming that's what you mean. I don't know if I go that far. I mean, there's not. If we're going to talk about hype, there's not nearly even close to. There's no hype for Nunes. No. But
hell, we didn't even know that this fight was going on.
Yeah. But Farron being like a Dobson kind of position right now, yeah, I think that's kind of more comparable. But overall, I don't know about that. So, all right, we are split on that one, and it's more.
We probably shouldn't be. We probably shouldn't be, but fuck it.
Yeah, it's whatever. We'll see. This is we'll get questions answered in this one for sure, I think. All right, moving on to what is going to be bittersweet no matter what for me, I think so.
He said no. I mean, if she gets cut, if she loses.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Farron.
So. Yeah, I think so.
It probably should be.
All right, strawweight time. Love it. Loopy getting done dirty.
It's nice to see Jessica Penne get a fight, but now she's fighting Lupita, which is not a good fight for her. It's gonna be tough. Lupita's a fucking monster, dude.
Savage. Yeah. Yep, we talked about it last week, and it's fucking, she can't catch a break, man. Even when she gets a fight, can't catch a break, dude.
She might get a broken nose.
Oh my goodness. Loopy is just so legit, you guys. And if you, I know I said this last week. If you don't know about her, haven't seen her yet, best example of what she's currently capable of, go back, watch that last fight, the title winning performance against Vanessa Demopoulos. Just phenomenal performance from her, and I actually tweeted that out today. If you guys did not catch that, it is available on Daily Motion, which I'm sure now that I pointed out, it'll get taken down relatively soon, but you can go and watch it there on my Twitter. I posted it, so great example and to get you hyped up for Loopy. But Little Beast, we knew that this was coming at some point, coming in short notice, taking on Jessica Penne. And so as for the matchup, Jessica Penne has never been known as a striker, really, at any point. She has had pretty serviceable striking, can hang with people kind of around her skill set, but we've clearly seen her overwhelmed against very talented Jessica Andrade and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But in her last fight, which was quite a while ago, unfortunately, I thought her striking did look very improved. Her movement specifically looked very good, and she's only had time to work on that since. Not like she's been out with an injury. But then again, I just don't know if that will be enough to match somebody as good as Loopy, not just with her technique, but also her power. Like, I'm still surprised she didn't finish Vanessa. That goes to show how strong Demopoulos is, right? How talented. Tough. She's tough. She's very durable.
She's tough.
Very, very durable. And so, this is going to be a fight where Jessica absolutely wants to get it to the ground, pretty much by any means necessary. And she's never really been one to attack with that wrestling heavy game plan. Like she just kind of it's not Mackenzie Dernish to where it just kind of happens and you fall into the ground somehow. Like we've seen her hit takedowns and that kind of thing, but I don't know, she isn't that kind of wrestler typically. And she's been working on the entire game overall. She's gonna have the experience edge in this fight, but man, I really do think Loopy is something else. And I could see this being a fight where she's really taken over, just controlling, dominating on the feet for like the first 2 rounds. Then Jessica gets her down, makes things a bit scary, looks for some submissions, maybe, has some success, maybe pulls off the 3rd round. But I don't know. I just think the beginning of this fight, Loopy starts out pretty quick. She's just aggressive, very good. Just her striking is very solid. As Jimmy pointed out here. Did his homework on Loopy. Thinks he's got the solid striking as well. It could be pretty ugly on the feet. So, and Rue pointing out here, Jessica's gonna really need to clinch and wrestle, but even that might not be a good idea against Loopy. Yeah, like she's not terrible on that in those departments of her grappling or anything. It's just that, again, going back to Desiree, kind of like her striking's her strength. So
Ghost Phantom went back and watched it after we talked about it. He said after watching the Demopoulos fight, Lupe might outclass her. Her striking game is pretty good. Good to see that you guys are watching these fights that we talk about. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, these are fighters to be interested in, man. And so as much as I really do, I would love so much for Jessica Penne, for this story to end happily and her to pull this off, which she can. She absolutely can. I'm not going to give her no chance whatsoever, but man, I'm also a realist more often than not, and I know I blew Steve away with the prediction of Dern last week, but I'm not going to do it again here. I think that Loopy will get the job done and just be a little too overwhelming in those first 2 rounds. Like I said, I think Penne will, just everything she's gone through, man. She's going to fight her heart out, look for the finish every single second of this fight that she can, and make it very interesting in the 3rd round. But early on, I think she's going to not do so hot. So I think Godinez, unanimous decision most likely. And it's a bummer either way for whoever loses for me, but it wouldn't hurt as much for Loopy to lose in this one, but I can't go against her. She's too good right now.
She's way too good, dude. She's tough. Her striking is way too good. But I mean, if Penne gets her down on the ground, then it could change. It could change the fight dramatically.
Very much.
It's just getting there, getting into Loopy's striking, getting inside of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is going to happen. I think Loopy gets the finish. Probably 2nd round finish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
She's that good, dude. She's that good.
Yeah, and that's why it makes me so sad that this is happening.
It's not that I don't think that Jessica Penne isn't a good fighter, because I mean she's
OG.
a very good fighter, but Loopy's on the streak right now, man. We're going back to momentum. Momentum is a big thing, and Jessica has no momentum at all. She has like negative momentum, while
no kidding.
While Loopy has all of the momentum.
Yep, pretty much. So Jimmy coming in here.
Is this a case of Loopy fighting an overmatched opponent, but an opponent who has been at a high level at some point of her career?
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
I don't know if she's overmatched necessarily.
Yeah, because obviously, Jimmy, you're equating this a little bit to the Silva Bud and Parker Zingano fight, right? Because we've been talking about that so much, but not nearly on that same level, because I mean, and I know you point out at a fighter who's been at a high level at some point in her career. Yes, Jessica Penne, former champion of Invicta at atomweight, but still, she's had so much experience just in general. And in her last fight, yes, it was years ago, one that she arguably should have won against Danielle Taylor. I don't think that she's overmatched. It's just the circumstances around all of this are just so unique that it makes it a lot worse. Like if this was Penne coming off of, having fought months ago, I'm sure we'd feel a whole lot more confident in her chances here, right? But it's always so hard to assess, especially after this amount of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't help, and especially with a monster like Godinez as your person to welcome you back. Even though it's short notice for her, it don't matter. It don't matter at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I was looking at the odds, and
it's got to be favored.
Godinez is minus 285 on Bovada right now.
Oof! Wow.
Penne's plus 225.
Probably fair though. As much as it hurts to say. That's good to see though, that the odds makers are aware of Loopy at least. I guess that last LFA fight was pretty big. That was main event, wasn't it? So
that was the main event. Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So we both have Loopy winning. Both. Did you take a knockout, or you couldn't?
No,
you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
No, because I think that Penne will come on strong late. I do think that'll happen, and maybe win the 3rd round, but I think she'll survive to the decision. So
I think that's what you hope is going to happen.
I would prefer that, yes. I'm a strong supporter of Jessica Penne. She is a great individual, and an OG, like I said. So
yeah.
But anyway, moving on now to Steve's main event of the night. Let's get on with it. Which I actually didn't realize this fight was on this card either.
Yeah.
But
I think it's on the main card, right?
No, it is the last prelim.
Oh.
Stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy Cortez versus Justin Quiche. This is more about Tracy Cortez than it is about Justin Quiche.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Quiche is kind of taken up a bit of a gatekeeper role, and we saw that with the Mazo matchup, right? That was pretty much what that was. So here we are now with welcoming Tracy Cortez back to flyweight, which makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. I don't know what was happening with the bantamweight business, but here we are taking on Justine Quiche, which this is very clear to me, I think, in terms of it's not striker versus grappler, but those are the strengths, right? Cortez, much better wrestler than Quiche. Quiche, decent. I don't want to say much better, but the better striker of the two. Justine Quiche is known for her Muay Thai background, kickboxing, all that. She's a very good striker. Was beating on her way to beating Mazo until she got caught with a head kick, which Mazo's got great ones of those. So in this fight, Tracy Cortez back at flyweight where she belongs, needs to get the fight to the ground, will get the fight to the ground.
Absolutely.
It's because on the feet, as long as it's there, she's going to get relatively pieced up. I don't think she'll get completely outclassed, besmirched, or anything like that, but she's going to be on the losing end of these exchanges. And
unless if she improved, I mean, she's had time to improve.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I just think she hasn't looked, despite losing, her last fight against Mazo and other performances, she hasn't looked like she's getting significantly worse, right? I think she's still a very, very good striker, Justine Quiche. She always has been. But yeah, no, Cortez could definitely surprise us and bring on a much stronger fight in the striking than we expect, especially at flyweight. But I think her main path to success here will be taking the fight to the ground, which she doesn't shy away from a game plan like that, and she's got a great fight IQ, as we saw in her last fight against Egger, So it's gonna be a very fun one, interesting everywhere that it goes, and in the clinch, that's also another area that will be a fun, spot to see how it plays out because Quiche is pretty nasty in there too. So yeah, to get right to the prediction, I think that Tracy's wrestling is going to be the big difference maker here, and we'll lead her to a decision. Again, I don't think she'll submit Quiche. It's possible, definitely very possible, but no, I just think it's going to be too much. He's going to overwhelm her with the pressure a little bit in that area. So
her wrestling is phenomenal. I'm a wrestling guy. I mean, why wouldn't I love what Tracy Cortez brings? She's amazing, dude. She's a really good wrestler. Oh, stamina. Jury's out for me on Cortez. I don't think I favor either woman. All things are possible to me from this seat. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. See, I'm not in the same spot as you. I'm not sold on Tracy going super far just yet.
Yeah.
She has potential, definitely, but she hasn't shown me anything insane.
No, I get it. Yeah. She hasn't. She really hasn't.
But I'm much more confident in her at 125. This is no secret, I think you have as well. But
made no sense.
Right. And
like the girl didn't look great at 135, Like she doesn't have that body, that frame of body.
Right. And it's just weird,
She should never be at 135. Yeah, she shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and especially after having already been at 125 prior, it was very strange. So, Ghost here again.
No, that's not factual. That's not facts. Ghost Phantom.
Fake news.
Fake news, man. I know Steve loves Cortez for other things. What are the other things? But Cortez is really good wrestling and knows how to go through adversity. Yeah, she's tough as shit. And like I said before, you even mentioned, I love her for other things. I love her for wrestling. Like, have you not been paying attention to the shows? I love wrestlers. That's what I like.
Yeah. So what a combo it is for him.
Yeah. We didn't
And
get Rue
Rue is all
says
about this.
he loves her eyelashes. They're enormous.
I love how he's like, nobody's mentioning her eyelashes. It's funny. I wouldn't have noticed this until you said it,
She
probably.
has those
But
fake eyelashes, and
yeah,
they look great on her.
my ex-girlfriend had those, so that was fun.
Oh. Stamina says eyelashes don't win fights. Yes, they do. Stamina. Yes, they
Come
do.
on.
Eyelashes win fights.
Amazing. Got me a new hashtag there. But all right, Steve, what is your official prediction here? I know who you're picking, but how is she win it?
Cortez by WrestleFuck.
Finish or no finish?
Yeah, ground and pound.
Ooh, okay. That would be pretty. That would probably be the most impressive way to beat Keish, I think, because Keish is very tough as well.
She should be. She. That's how she should win.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Eyelashes for the win. There it is. You can get that trending now. Everyone will be like, "What is this about?" So, all right. So on that note, you guys, Steve and I agreeing on all fights except for the bantamweight opener this week.
I mean, I could have gone to fair. I mean, it would have been fine.
Right. Lash bar, he says.
Lash bar round one buzzer beater. Flying lash bar. Oh, you guys crack me up. You guys make me laugh. This is 3 hours of fun.
Boy, oh boy, has it ever been. Great show. Great show tonight, I think. Man, oh man, so much to get into. But we have reached the climax, you guys. Don't forget, follow us, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't, then what are you doing? At Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MMA, at The Scrap News. All of the wonderful places. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Next week we're looking to be back to our new normal of Mondays, as next week I'm heading out to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida on Tuesday for the UFC 261 Fight Week activities covering for SCMP. Catch all of the great content over there. If you have any questions that you would like for me to send to whoever will be there, fighters, Dana, you name it, pass it my way in the DMs or just tag me on Twitter. Wherever you can contact me. Always happy to be a man of the people. But that is going on next week. So Steve and I looking to be back on Monday, as he just left for whatever reason. So yeah, looking to be back on Monday next week. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to do that because there were no issues there. Right. And Jimmy mentioning SoCana stands Tracy Cortez eyelash is the last thing in this chat. Yeah, disappointing, you guys. Need more Kana love to close out the show, as Steve has disappeared for whatever reason. I'm sure he'll be back momentarily to close out the show properly, which I'm pretty sure he disappeared last week as well at the end here for whatever reason. And yep, there he is. That was an accident, wasn't it?
No, it cut out.
It looked like you closed the tab.
No, it closed out on me.
All right, well, it knows we're going overtime. So, what do you got going on, Steve? Anything coming up?
No, nothing.
Thanks.
No, nothing. I have nothing. I'm not a worker like you.
Fair enough.
I have a real work life.
Real? How dare you? So I told the people we had to leave on a Kana note because Jimmy didn't want eyelash comments being the last thing. So we got Yes Go Kana coming in. Kana 2021 flyweight champ. There we go.
Makes all the sense.
All the sense in the world. So as for me, you guys, aside from plugging the trip next week and covering UFC 261, I already mentioned, I think, the interviews that I got out recently already. What we did Desiree Yanez, check that one out. Julia Budd before the fights this week. Caitlin Young, amazing. Getting to talk to her. PFL fight against Cindy Dandois is coming up in 2 weeks, I think. It might be beginning of May. Either way, Caitlin Young, awesome stuff there with her. I spoke to Liang Na, of course. That one came out yesterday. Check that out. Aaron Tohill, that one is going to be dropping this week. Want to talk about an OG, one of the biggest OGs of the sport right there. So that was a good old fun time, and she made quite the call out on there. She has a lot to say, everybody. So look for that. She wants to come back and fight again. So good fun there.
She's not a talker either. The hell?
She's got a lot to say. So, and then I do have an interview with a champion that was supposed to be tonight, but it got rescheduled to, what is that, Thursday. So I'll be talking to that person. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to jinx it any further, but we'll have that one coming as well before the trip next week, you guys. And I think that is about it.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
Probably forgetting stuff.
You guys need to watch Janet Todd tomorrow on 1.
Right. I did want to mention that.
Yes. Go
Good
watch
call.
Janet Todd. Oh, boy.
Janet Todd. She's the champ now, right? The Muay Thai champ?
She's the champion. So, yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yep. 1 on TNT. 2 tomorrow. Don't
Hopefully
miss
it turns
that.
out a little bit better than the first one because that was pretty anticlimactic.
I mean, just the first fight. But, all right, Steve. Take it away.
All right. So without you guys, there would be no us, as usual. We do this for you guys just as much as we do it for us to, talk MMA and stuff. But thank you to everybody who shows up in the comments. Thank you to everybody who doesn't show up to comment but watches later on. And even if you're here watching live and you're not commenting, thank you. Stamina, thank you for coming back. It's been a while. Hope to see you next week. Rue, Jimmy, Rain, Alex was here. Ghost Phantom, thank you for all of your questions this week in the mailbag. Who else popped in? Somebody else popped in, right?
There was what was his name? So sorry. He just had one comment.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Radical Rosh. Yes.
Radical Rosh.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah. I think I got
He must be a lurker.
That's fine. Lurkers are okay. I'm okay with lurkers. So until next week, stay safe, stay sane. Have fun watching the fights.